All right, welcome back to Pax Mithdosica, where we last left off. The party had a bit of an encounter with what we were calling a worm chad, though was later revealed to be an aboleth. But that was, the party's moved on from that, and we are currently traveling through the mountains. Now, do you guys remember what it is specifically you were doing in the mountains?
Good old fucking ward. The stupid little bitch-ass ward.
Yeah, we're gonna go have a look at the glacier one.
Yes, do you remember why?
Because it was new and we hadn't seen it yet?
Yeah, I think that's close enough. I believe it was Corvus who initiated this idea to look at the glacier ward, see if you can discover like how it was made and stuff like that, and then continue your search for another ward. So, we did just like finish up our travel. So who would like to roll encounters? Obviously food is gonna have to be Yogi/Ednius, but who'd like to roll encounters for the party as we continue forward?
Yes, I'll do it.
Alrighty. And then who would like to move the token?
I can do it.
Alrighty. Well then, it is February, so it's cold and misty. You're not above the snow line, so it's very misty. Little bits of rain dropping on your heads as you begin the morning march. So let's get a D100. Let's subtract 5 rations, and
just so we know, I have 10 days of rations left.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, it rains today. It's a rainy day. Corvus, where are we going?
The plan was to go onto the glacier here, right? Or are we going further?
I think we're gonna go further north.
Okay. How many tiles on mountain?
2.
2, right?
Yeah. 2 hexes. Well, you guys passed through the familiar village of Oviocella. This was the little town you passed through on your way to the Gorge Ward. 10 sessions ago or whatever. The town is still abandoned. No humans nor beasts have taken up residence in it. So that night, rather than sleep in the open country, you are able to, or under a tiny hut, you're able to rest your heads on a proper bed, which is, a welcome change. Let's do -5 rations for the next day, D100 from Ethan, and we can keep going. $75.
That.
Okay. I know we've discussed this ad nauseum. Grania and Maximus have a tied pass perception, right?
I believe so, yes.
I also believe so. And Maximus, you're on Pegasus back screening for the party while they walk?
Yeah, not too far, though.
Sure, not too far. Well then. You all walk through the mountains. The Allian Mountains at this elevation are largely rolling, kind of scraggly, grassy hills. With distinct valleys, with trees typically growing in the valleys themselves, tall pines. But that means that because it's mostly grass and the occasional boulder, there's quite a bit of long distance sight for someone on Pegasus back. So Maximus, as your 4 party members are beneath you, slowly climbing this, doing a series of switchbacks up this tall hill, you peek over into the next valley and you see a shape. It looks humanoid, but you have to blink a couple of times because of its size. It is a 30-foot tall humanoid. Its skin is black as coal. It is lying on the ground, unmoving. It wears armor as black as its skin, though it has a faint glint to it to let you know that it's metallic. And its eyes look like rubies with no spark. There's no light reflecting in them.
How far away is this individual?
It's down in a nearby valley. You can see a number of charred trees with all of their branches gone around the body.
All right, cool. I'll pop down to the rest of the party then.
Yeah, just as probably Primius is pulling himself up onto like the crest of the ridge, you land the Pegasus.
There's a burnt body in the next valley. It's real big.
Oh.
Got ruby eyes and metal armor of some kind.
Ruby eyes.
Good.
What is?
Good and dead though.
Just ruby eyes. Does that tell us anything? Does that sound like anything you might know?
Roll a history check.
I was about to say, do I know anything about fire giants?
Roll a history check.
Roll a history check.
A fire giant burnt to death.
Well, I don't know. I think fire giants might
26.
just be that color.
Well, that is a very funny roll side by side. It's 26 and a 1. Yeah, I mean, Corvus, your knowledge of obscure monstrology assists you again. In the kingdom of Cavaranth, there is a place called the Goshtok Citadel. It is inside of Goshtok Volcano. It is the only place in the world where there is a perpetually open portal to the elemental plane of fire. There's some belief that there's one in Kulkland, but there's never been any proof of that. But the one in Cavaranth is known to exist, and people frequently interact with the fire giants which live in that volcano. Those fire giants are hostile. They kill almost anyone they meet, but they do exist, and they do craft grand things. And one of the most notable descriptions is that they are otherworldly in the sense that they don't even seem fully biological. Their eyes are not even flesh-based. And so when you hear a description of ruby eyes, charred black skin, black armor, it all does sort of match that description. And a
my bad,
big
Blake.
humanoid. Does Corvus do anything with that information?
I'll relay it to the party.
How do you relay it?
It's, I read about this city. They have a puzzle to the plane of fire, and there's these creatures there that resemble what we're seeing here.
About fire giants?
Yeah.
Oh.
Think so.
So, does that mean it's not dead? It's just kind of like that?
Don't know.
Alex, I'm gonna have a pop back up.
I mean,
I don't know if it's alive.
you fly upwards and look back at the figure lying on the ground, the 30-foot tall humanoid.
Is, the trees and such around it, are they, like, actively smoldering still? Or are they,
They're
like,
pitch
burnt?
black. Reduced to standing charcoal.
Huh. How about the trees, and is there, like, kind of like concentric rings of less burnt the farther you go out?
Yeah, it almost seems like the giant, like, arrived there and just never moved.
Okay.
There's no, like, footprints or sign of, like, burned
like
trees or anything like that.
Alright. Yeah, I'll pop back down then. Well, there's no, like, path leading anywhere. It looked like it just plopped down there and then never moved. And it's not moving now.
Perhaps it's sleeping?
Could be. I didn't see, like, any smoke or anything. There was heat there at some point, but it doesn't look like there is anymore.
Well,
But,
note it down
Could
for
you leave
Kato.
Well, if it's dead, then I would like to examine it up close.
What could
Cranial
you
plan, I don't
possibly?
think it's
Raven
worth the
to
risk of
approximately
it not
where it
being
is.
dead.
It's definitely not.
You don't think it's dead?
It's not worth the risk. I mean,
Well, if
we
my
get-
raven, I can check through my raven whether it's alive, and if it's alive, then we just leave it alone.
I mean, how far
And
away
wake
is
up,
it?
Or we need to be far away.
It's over the ridge. It's like it's
How
not
far
gonna-
away is the ridge?
Well, you guys are on the crest of the ridge. Now, even if you guys were on the ridge itself, like on the spine of the ridge, you wouldn't be able to see the body because it's obscured by the surrounding trees. Only a bird's eye view allows you to see it, but it's maybe 600, 700 feet. It's not all that far.
All right.
I don't know. It looks pretty dead to me, and I don't think that the crow idea is bad. So, besides, it looks like it got ruby eyes. It's got to be worth something, right?
How are we gonna carry that?
Well, you cut the eyes out, obviously.
I think that's the question. It's not how we get them out; it's how we carry them back.
I mean,
Would they fit in the bag?
Almost certainly. It's a 30-foot tall humanoid. Human eyes are rather small.
Mm,
Even if you scaled them up by 6 times larger, they're just not that big.
Yes, crow. No crow.
Come on, the crow should be fine.
Okay. You resummon your familiar. It pops into the air on your shoulder. And
Before he flies us out, how far away can that thing actually like use that? Because Granny's gonna move further away.
What? The familiar?
Yeah.
Unlimited.
well, this plane of existence.
Well, yeah.
All right, then I'm voting that we move further away before we disturb it.
Well, sure, we can do that.
All right.
Okay. You guys descend back into the valley that you came from. I mean, how far are we going?
That's a good
Enough
question.
that. How far were we before? You say?
700 feet-ish.
Let's go. Probably another 300 to 500 feet is what I would say.
Okay. So we're going to be a quarter of a mile away. Okay. Yeah. You send up the crow. Your eyes roll back into your head. And once you have this perspective, you can see the giant. You weren't all that far from seeing it when you were on the ridge. Is there any details you want to make out while you're flying above?
Well, yeah. Is its chest moving?
No.
Then I'm gonna get the crow to get closer.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna see like any signs of it moving at all.
No, the 30-foot tall giant remains perfectly still. Its eyes are ruby and kind of hang open. Its mouth is slightly ajar, and inside of its mouth you can see there is a flash of movement. It's too small to be the creature's tongue, and a moment later you see another crow is pecking at its cheek from the inside of the mouth, eating the carrion flesh.
Alright. I'll have the crow find its way back on its own, and I'll tell the rest of the party, yeah, it's definitely dead.
No.
Yeah,
Makes me wonder what killed that.
Fair question.
oh, let's go find out.
True. The journey there is really easy. It's up onto the ridge, down from the ridge, past a couple of trees, and then you're there. It was hard to see the amount of damage from the air because the giant wore black armor and it has pitch black skin. Where armor and skin begins was hard to see from a distance, but now that you guys are on the ground, 30, 40 feet away from it, you can see that this has been picked at for probably days at this point. Every single gap in the armor has become an entry method for wolves and foxes and vultures and crows, and your arrival kind of scares away the 4 or 5 crows that were perched on various parts of the giant's head, picking away at his flesh. A human body does not perfectly scale up to 30 feet because of biology. This fire giant has very thick legs that are almost double the diameter of his torso. So while he is humanoid, he does not have human proportions. He is built like a brick in a furnace, just this like square, hulking body, 30 feet in length.
Damn.
Well, is there any other? Well, I guess we go up and start scaling the eyes.
Yeah. You walk over to its head. The head laying down is as tall as you are. So your head is like eye level with the top of the giant's cheek. This close, you can start to see a bit of the texture of the skin. It's human in the sense of like it being normal skin. You're also able to tease out a lot of details, like the beard of this giant, or like around where a beard would be, are these long wispy tendrils of some sort of like black substance that almost look like they're soot covered, essentially. In its ears, you can see evidence of like carrion and bacteria and all the natural processes of nature beginning to work. And in its eyes, you see these rubies. They're not rubies that are faceted in any traditional sense. They are circular orbs, but they don't look biological.
So because of the degrading process, does that mean I could just like pull them out because everything around it has been decaying?
You reach up and you give it a try. You kind of tug on one of the eyes, which they're about 6 inches across. So you can get, it's, palm sized. You can get a good grip on it and kind of tug a little bit. The face is not so rotted as to surrender the eyes easily yet.
All right, and I'm gonna get in like a ready stance and really like get a wide base and like pull as hard as I can.
Yeah, the 4 of you watch as Prometheus kind of braces himself and then tugs, and as he rips out this piece of inorganic matter, all sorts of organic bits are attached to it. There is a nerve cluster, there is flesh, all of which is rotting and putrefying, and so a mixture of congealed blood and tissue kind of splatters onto the face around where the ruby was removed. The part that was like inside of the head is covered with all sorts of fleshy bits, but a 6-inch by 3-inch kind of like conical shaped ruby is now in your grasp.
All right.
Yeah, palm-sized ruby. Pretty spectacular.
Now for the other one.
Yeah. What, no natural beast of nature has been able to do, you go over and do very quickly. You pop the other one out now. While it is still a body, there's something about tearing out the eyes that feels like it makes it considerably less like it was once alive. Now there's just 2 like kind of gory piles on its face where its eyes once were.
How much do these weigh?
Well, we can look this up. Density of ruby. So it'd be 4.05.
Quick math.
We're doing but quick math. I think it would be like Oh, I see. Okay. I think several pounds is the answer, but I need to go find that real quick.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, God, because it's cubic. God, fucking cubic math is so much wackier. So a 5x3 would be that. So then that would mean that a 22 times 6, 132 times 125 would be 16,000, and then 16,000. It's a 32,000 carat ruby. So it would weigh 32,000 grams, which is
32 kilograms.
32 kilograms, which is 70 pounds.
Good God.
Yeah, they're very
Seven-
dense. They're very,
So I
very,
have
very dense.
140 pounds worth of ruby in my hand?
Yeah,
Or is
well,
it
in both
seven-
hands, in both of your hands.
70.
70
Seven-
pounds
20.
each.
Yes,
Okay.
70-pound. Yeah, they're as dense. They're a little bit less dense than tungsten, but that's the scale of like density we're in the realm of.
How
Well,
expensive
I
was
can't
it by
carry
ruby dust?
these.
That's a lot of money.
If I had-
these would be priceless in any traditional sense.
If I was carrying no armor, no weapons, no nothing, I could carry one of them.
Yeah, I mean they're hyper dense. Luckily for you, they easily fit in the mouth of the bag of holding.
It's true. All right. Trick or treat.
What's the total weight?
140
The fit?
for both of them. Oh yeah, I didn't even
And
think
the
about
max
the
weight
weight.
is 500 for a bag of holding.
I believe so.
Okay. we're
Is there
fine.
is there a, like
And also,
a way I can discern the way this thing died?
Well, what I mean, we can roll a medicine check if you want, or you can describe the things you would look for.
I guess I'd look for like obvious like sources of death, like weapon entries, or just like I don't know. My second best guess is like the storm giant found it and like just struck it with lightning and just smited it.
Yeah,
So,
so
like-
anything obvious, there's nothing obvious. There is no giant, like, cleave into the chest. The armor is perfectly intact. The giant's pose almost feels like a clue, and since Grania rolled a medicine check, I'll kind of... Grania, the giant is not laying, like, flat on the ground. They're kind of, like, curled in a little bit. It almost looks like trying to warm themselves.
I was about to say, yeah.
Maybe it just couldn't stand the elements. and it
Motherfucker. Motherfucker froze to death.
Hmm. Did he have like a weapon on him or something?
Yes, resting on the ground beside him. He wasn't holding it in his hands. For him, it would be a warhammer. For you, it is, I mean, it's probably...
Unwieldy.
Well, not just unwieldy, like impossible to even pick up, because it's 3 times 6. It's 18 feet long. And it would weigh hundreds of pounds. And it's made out of the same stuff as his armor, which is a type of, like, blackened metal.
I was say, what type of metal is that? Do I have any idea?
Type
Does anyone have
steel.
mithril on them? I know that Maximus kind of started to purge
Yeah.
some of that. Okay.
I do.
I do. I still do, yeah.
Okay.
I have a
are-
rapier.
That perfect. So with the mithril rapier, there is a fun little trick that you can do with mithril, which is mithril is the strongest non-magical material known to metallurgy, essentially. Yes, you do the scratch test. If mithril can scratch it, it's metal. If it can't scratch it, it's magical. It's the easiest. Every adventurer who gets, their first little mithril dagger learns it. You walk over, you scratch the armor, it scratches, meaning this is some type of mundane metal, which is, a bit disappointing, but it makes sense. This is, the amount of the armor he's wearing weighs thousands of pounds, and the weapon he was carrying weighs hundreds of pounds. It would have taken a colossal amount of material. As you scratch it, though, you reveal that the blackened part of this armor is not... It's a shell. This is probably, like, painted armor. So could be iron, could be steel, could be whatever, but it's been painted over black. It'd be like painting your armor flesh tone.
Or green.
No,
would be
because
odd.
his skin is black, so it'd be like if Maximus painted his armor, pinkish.
I'm just saying, that's what he did to us last time.
Yeah, true. But yeah, he did have a weapon.
What about like you have like a pouch or a bag of some kind or
At his
anything like that?
waist, connected to his armor, is this large black cord. What material it's made out of, I think, is weird, because it looks like it's made out of some type of hair, like it's like a horse hair belt, but the hairs of whatever species he used are like inches wide. Like, they are hair, but they're so thick that they don't even resemble hair anymore. And all of that's been woven into a belt around his waist. And from that belt hang a series of pouches. They're very small, not for you guys, of course, but for him, this would be big enough to, like, slide your index finger and your thumb into to grab its contents. So a bunch of small little pouches along his waist.
We go rifling through his shit.
Yeah. In one, you find a fine white dust.
Cocaine, yeah.
Yo, D.
Is-
That's
wait.
how he died.
What is it made of? Like,
Well,
is
how do you test it?
Is it?
Basically,
Jordan,
Maximus
boy,
walks
sniff
over.
this.
Yeah, Maximus walks over. He opens up this little pouch. Inside, it's packed nearly to the top with a bit of fine white powder. The externals of the bag have little powder stains on them, so this is something that the giant clearly used often.
Okay, it's powder.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
Powdery.
So it's
I'm
not
gonna
like
look
I was wondering if it's like crushed diamond, maybe.
No, it doesn't glitter at all. It's very opaque.
I'm gonna look up at Corvus. Hey, drug boy, you wanna give this a sniff? Or are you good?
I'm curious what it is, but if a giant takes it, I could just the tiny does what it could kill me, no?
Well, you're taking it through an equally tiny nose.
Who said nose? I'm gonna go up and I'm just gonna take like a tiny bit of my fingertip and I'm gonna lick it off.
Yeah, it's chalk. It tastes like chalk.
Okay, my guess was gonna be like salt or something like that.
yeah. Salt would be a bit more recognizable, but this tastes like chalk, 100%.
Okay, so
Haven't
I'll
eaten
just
chalk.
go like, I'll pull out my water skin and rinse my mouth and go, bah! It's just chalk. No drugs here.
Well, you know what
Disappointed.
it tastes like.
Does this mean this is the guy who's been taking care of the wards?
Possibly.
Well, at least
What else does he have on him?
Yeah, I mean, so you guys all search his little pouches, and what you find is a bunch of little things for what was clearly his profession. You find a tiny little magnifying glass, which is really kind of like cute because, you know, it's clearly not made by giants. Like, this was taken from some other species, and it's really small, but it must have worked because there's no, I mean, for you, it's a very large magnifying glass, but for him, it would have been tiny in comparison. He also has a variety of hammer sizes from, in one of the pouches, there's a hammer that's actually like pretty normal for human scale. And then it goes all the way up to a hammer, which still fitting in the pouches, but would be almost a sledgehammer for a human. There is also little bits of pyrite in one of the pouches. Another pouch contains essentially solder material, which is just long, stringy, like wires of metal. Though, again, the wires are much bigger than you would ever use in human-sized smithing.
That's used, that's like known.
Soldering, yeah, absolutely. Soldering has existed in the real world since the invention of metallurgy.
I didn't know.
Yeah. They used solder as early as bronze working as a way to basically repair damaged pieces. Now, obviously, they weren't using soldering irons, but, you know.
Oh, they were.
But yeah, there's about 14 pouches, and all of them contain little bits and bobs related to smithing.
Wow. The fire giant's a smither. Who would have thought?
Smither.
Probably nowhere.
You're definitely not a languager, that's for sure.
Nope. I'm a killer.
Well, what do we do with this fella?
Eat him.
Before we continue, I want to check the rubies for magic.
Yeah, you flash your eyes, and they have a different thing than you're used to. They do not have a school of magic on them, but they do have an ambient aura to them.
Okay.
Is that the same aura that
Um,
would be found around like a spellcasting focus?
No.
Corvus, would you? These seem to be magic. Would you identify them?
Yeah, no problem.
Alrighty.
Now I'm
You walk
curious.
over, and while in your head you think about the best choice cuts from this rotting colossus, you cast the ritual.
Tasty.
These rubies are desecrated.
Oh.
Trimius, this is more up to your speed.
Well. Okay.
Desecrated.
To be clear, so
well-
what desecration is, because it's worth defining what we mean by this. From you all have different ways of detecting magic. For the Zednius way, he's just looking at auras, and what he sees is there is an aura here, but he doesn't recognize what it means. Like, abjuration has a different shape to it, a different hue to it. This one he doesn't know. For Corvus, when you identify it, you normally get basically your own voice whispers into your head the magical properties. All you get for this is that there is there is desecration here, which is, again, like you said, not really your expertise.
Okay. Divine sense?
Yeah.
That's
A smell hits your nose of a bloated corpse. The giant's body actually doesn't smell that much, which is weird, obviously, because it's been rotting for days. But the second you enable your divine sense, you smell a bloated, rotting body, which fills your nostrils and makes you gag. It's not just the eyes that are desecrated, it's the entire body.
Really? Yeah, it's the it's the whole body. It's not just the eyes. I'm not at a level where I can undo what's been done. That would require a hollow spell. I believe it's of the 5th circle.
So what? It's gonna curse us or something if we take it?
No, that is basically, it means someone.
Does it even mean
How do I put
anything
this?
for us, like function?
Do you know how when you make, it's kind of like you make a donation to Aurelian Soul, but to a demon or a god that
So
is
you're saying
not.
it's bad vibes.
It's bad juju. Yeah.
It also means, in the case of human parishioners, that they are not going to the Tranquiline Halls. It means that either they're spoken for by another entity, or upon their death, their soul is going to be basically taken for some other purpose. Or if they're already a corpse, it means their shit's gone, like their soul is already heisted.
So basically, if someone promised their soul to like a hag, I don't know who would do that.
That'd be crazy.
They would be desecrated, and they would turn.
Oh, so the creature from a mysterious plane has promised its soul to a mysterious entity?
Yeah,
Is basically
basically,
what that means?
God beyond our
Could
comprehension
be
has
like
already
their
called dibs on
imagination of
his
a
soul,
god.
Or it was taken forcibly.
or taken forcibly.
But his eyes are free for the taking.
So anyone Zenius soul steals is
desecrated,
automatically desecrated. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, soul stealing is,
Pretty
in a
bad.
world where immortal souls and like the existence of your consciousness after death exists, Zednius actually kills people permanently.
Yes.
That's
So
straight up.
like some of the
No afterlife for you, bucko.
And especially for that, when you did that to Angela Isle, that was a demon, which they don't even have physical bodies in the first place. So you actually killed it, which is borderline impossible in a traditional sense because they don't have bodies. But you did kill it, like actually.
Oh my god, that guy's existed for like millions of years. He's like, no worries, I'll just come back eventually. And he's oh fuck.
yeah, it was pretty spooky.
Well, that's
Alex,
what happens
this might
when
be
you
a
mess
bit of a side tangent here, but you remember that campaign or like mini campaign we did to prevent the resurrection of
Yama, yeah.
one of the
Yama.
If
Yeah, man.
is there a way he could have soul stolen an entire demon prince?
Maybe. I mean, so his method of soul stealing is a gift to him by his god, I don't think Tel Karel is strong enough to devour the soul of a demon that strong.
All right. Okay.
It's a
Telkarel himself is like the level of a demon prince, right?
no,
So
no,
No, he's higher.
no, he's
He's
nowhere
higher.
near. No,
I
he's
forgot.
not even close. Tel Karel's like a shitter god that's been dead for like a millennium.
Wait, then what's a demon prince? I thought the demon princes were the gods.
No.
The
He doesn't
dead
know the
gods.
deep esoteric lore that he has no method of acquiring.
The-
You're worshipping a bum-ass that's been forgotten
the
to
wiki
time,
in Harkon's
bro.
brain, I can't.
The
what do
wiki
you
of my brain,
want?
so true. Also, he doesn't
I
worship
just
Tel Karel, okay? He has
imagine.
never once given that guy offerings. I bet he doesn't even remember what he's the god
Unless
of.
the soul suck is an offering.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Tel Karel's putting the fries in the bag right now to Aurelian Soul.
So
you know?
true.
So true.
Anyway.
Bestie.
What are we doing with this giant? Oh yeah, the body's desecrated. What do we do with this information?
Well, it should be all right as long as we take it to the Department of. Oh man,
Can we
I
just
don't-
burn the body to destroy it? Like mundanely? Does that not work?
I mean that doesn't really get rid
Burn
of the
the-
desecration. He still doesn't have a soul.
Well, yeah.
It's
Burn
just
the
means
fire
there will-
giant body.
You know, you
Scratching
got
my
a
head.
point there.
He does have a point there.
Uh,
Oh, whoopsie! I didn't think of that part. That is indeed a fire giant, huh?
Alex, do I know of a way to hollow desecration without the hollow spell?
Yeah, there's a spell called Ceremony. No, I think that's actually called Ceremony. That could do it. There's also bathing in holy water. Also, since it's a corpse and you're not worried, I mean, the main reason desecration is often feared is because if like a graveyard is desecrated, for instance, it's a 100% guarantee that necromancy is involved. Because the process of necromancy inherently desecrates bodies because you are essentially barring the soul from ever returning to the body or forcibly returning the soul to the body. Either way, you're doing some fucked shit with the soul, which in turn desecrates the body. Which is... No, that was about to be a tangent. But yeah, so the answer is... you could do holy water, you could do the ceremony spell, or you could just destroy the body, because the body is what is desecrated.
Oh,
Not,
okay.
Like,
Wait,
yes, the soul is fucked,
or-
but the soul is gone. The soul is way somewhere else. It's the physical body, like the flesh, that is desecrated.
Yeah.
are me and Zednius desecrated then?
Well, that was actually the exact tangent I was about to go on, which is this is one of the interesting things, which is no, you're not. And it's actually something that almost every major religion uses to say that they're not doing necromancy. Because if we were doing necromancy, then everyone we revive would be desecrated, and they're not. Therefore, that is the line between necromancy and clerical magics, is the body desecrated, which is why, every cleric is taught how to detect desecration, because to them, it's like the fundamental line that separates them from a necromancer.
I look at Primius. Is that crow over there desecrated? I'll point at one of the crows that was eating the body.
Yeah, it's in a nearby tree now, gore dripping from its beak.
No.
He's right. It's
Well, then boom. The things will eat it, and the desecration will be gone.
Well, no. It falls on me to do the work of Aurelian Soul. So
I'm
I
sorry,
have
are you
to
a
do this
priest of
somehow.
Aurelian Sol?
Well,
Or...
All right.
I will look at him with my bright eyes.
No, but you're not like an official, clerical duty priest, right?
I will do what he wishes, as obvious to my position.
So you're.
Well-
I'm just wondering, when he signed when he swore the oath to become a judge, does that not supersede your being of your divine nature?
Well, there's some extra things that have been tacked onto
I'm just
my
saying, isn't our mission more
circumstances.
important than his sacred duty right now? And at the moment, right now, I feel like this is not that important right now. There's no
I think-
immediate danger by this.
I think if
We can just
you
come
wanted
back
to
here.
initiate this, why do we gotta leave so soon? Why is it all of a sudden a problem when I want to finish what we started.
Well, because I expect you to start some fucking holy ritual that's gonna waste us 3 days.
No, we just got to destroy the body.
How
You
are you
just
gonna do
spent
that?
10 minutes sitting there telling us that it was magical of some kind.
That's different. That's that's relevant research.
Okay, bud.
Okay.
But Primius, this does bring up a bit of a quandary.
Mm.
Wouldn't you normally do this with, you'd cleanse the area in holy fire?
Yeah, but this is a fire giant, as you mentioned, so I'm not sure if
So yeah,
that
that
would
was gonna be
work.
my next question.
Fire-
How are you gonna do it then?
Well,
Fire giant,
that's-
man.
That's why I attempted to spend the last 10 seconds thinking before you interrupted me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you can't think while anybody's
he's,
talking. Must be awful in battle.
He's got you there.
I just posed a question out loud and you started getting pissed at me. I don't know.
Listen, I'm just cooking you here for no reason. I'm just busting your balls.
So does that mean we're destroying the rubies?
Well,
No?
the rubies can be doused in
Holy water.
holy water.
And what about the
Before we
armor
sell
and the
them.
weapons and all the smithing supplies?
Well,
Okay, can you
that's
make it
why
in holy
I
water?
that's why I attempted to start thinking.
Okay, let him
How dare
think.
you.
A moment of
Let him
silence.
cook, let him cook.
Okay, so the body can be destroyed. Given what you know about fire giants, are they immune to fire?
Do I know that?
I already told you everything you know about fire giants.
Oh no. I'm
Can
gonna
I, like-
firebolt the body.
You
yeah,
can do
good
that
test.
disintegrate thing, can't you?
Yeah, 1 cubic foot at a time. It's gonna take a few years, considering I can do that once a week.
True. I think that
Alright.
literally would take, because
What if I zone of truth the body and ask it to
kill
go
itself.
away?
well, Corvus, you do firebolt the corpse. You pick a patch where there's like visible skin. It strikes the skin, and what all of you witness this. It is really weird because you watch as the bacteria and the maggots and all the other life that has begun to colonize this body instantly burns and like crisps and dies, but the skin itself is completely unaffected, including the flesh beneath it.
Well, that answers that question.
Yeah.
I mean, also around this clearing, there are all those burnt trees, and the ground you're standing on is burnt, which means when this thing appeared, it likely had an aura of heat around it strong enough to instantly ignite trees.
So Alex, since desecration is magical in a sense, does that mean I can end it with cleansing touch?
Let's go look up cleansing touch.
I'll put it in the chat.
Are you 14th level?
Yeah.
How are you higher level than Maximus? Or no, Zednius. He's so cocked. That's so sad.
Yeah, I don't
Didn't
know.
He
he
missed
die?
one
Fuck,
arc and he's
man.
so
He
far
fucking
behind.
died.
I
Yeah.
know. It's just damn.
That's what you get for being disintegrated, loser.
Unfortunately, not because it's not a spell.
Mm,
It is magical, 100%. It's just spells are very, very specific things.
Yeah.
Well, dispel magic, because that's his magical effect.
What about that flashbang thing you do? You all are so fond of that. Is that
smiting? No, that doesn't like destroy anything. That just
I mean, radiant damage would damage it, no?
I mean it would damage a dead body, but it doesn't like
Well, I would suggest
I'm sorry,
burying
I
it,
just
but
I just read what Yogi said on the corner of
It's
my
very funny. You're pretty. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, so radiant damage does do damage. To be clear, it's basically a type of radiation. Only because, like, for example, the Sickening Radiant spell, which is probably the ultimate version of radiant damage, it's literally just like microwaving someone. So you're essentially hitting them with like hyper concentrated radiation. So it does do damage. It's just not. It's not gonna like destroy the body like physically.
I cast prostate cancer.
Like it'll kill a living thing, but it's not gonna like obliterate a body. Yeah.
Does dispel magic work? I have 2 the spells of it.
Yeah, I mean, okay. The answer is no, but also I think that an easy way to understand why is desecration is not an active thing. It's like what's a good analogy for this? It's like if you have a fire extinguisher and there's a bunch of ash in like a fire pit. Like you can't shoot the fire extinguisher to turn the ash into something else. The ash is the consequence of the thing which already happened. Whatever desecrated this body, whether it was necromancy or forcible soul stealing or warlock pact, already happened. It fully resolved itself. His soul is gone and is never coming back. But there's still this kind of lingering thing, which, you know, the ash and the metaphor, that cannot really be undone outside of hollow consecration, which in this case is a reverse type of magic, which allows for the soul to return back to the body through resurrection. So no, anything short of like outright consecration, which is what all those rituals and stuff I mentioned do, will do nothing.
We could just resurrect it.
After you consecrate it, yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see.
Which is insane, but it is accurate. You could resurrect a living fire giant. It'd be a very funny 30 seconds before it died to exposure again.
What was I gonna say? I don't even think paladins get access to ceremony. I think that's a cleric exclusive.
Correct, it is a cleric exclusive.
So
I would suggest burying it, but I don't want to be here for 3 days.
I don't even think that would do anything either, because it doesn't get rid of the body, it just lowers its location.
Yeah, that's why it'd be down there now.
I tell you what, I am willing to return to this after I go to the Department of Faith and get an acquisition of a scroll of hollow or ceremony or something like that. I only ask that we return to this location at a later date so I can finish what we started.
Mark it on your map then, because it's actually not in Oviocella, it's in this tile to the northeast that you guys were going to walk through anyways.
Cool. Is that all right with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then do we want to pilfer anything before we continue on our daily walk?
Also, it is critical that we get rid of the desecration eye. It won't cost much. I just need to pour some holy water on that when we get back to town.
On the rubies, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Seems easy.
Yeah. And
Can we just trudge up here with...
And if we manage to sell these
that's
on an
stupid.
auction, I'm sure they'll sell for a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll be able to sell them. It'll just take a while.
Well,
Yeah.
there is a fun little law called eminent domain that exists in the Empire, where things that are of such value that the state essentially demands them, and these certainly may fall in that bucket because no ruby would ever form this large naturally, like ever. It's impossible. So these are relatively unique.
What is the full law? Do we ever get compensated for the fine?
No, I mean you could be compensated, but they don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Back in the days of the Republic, there was a whole complex legal process for eminent domain in which they had to actually compensate you for the underlying value of the good in question. But we live in the Mithdosian Empire with an emperor, and all law exists to support his will. And if it's his will, the shit is his, he takes it.
Would make shit right here.
True, Corvus is going to cope and seethe when he remembers, oh god, they can take anything they want for nothing.
Either we'll get money or we won't. Oh.
True. Well, okay, so we're just taking the rubies for now and leaving everything else here to rot.
Ooh. I just thought of the implications of what you said, Alex.
Yeah.
Like, if a scroll worth $27 million doesn't even come close to falling under eminent domain, how fucking much are these worth?
literally priceless.
Good God.
Like, just for some context, like the Hope Diamond is in real life probably the most expensive piece, like single gem. It is a single diamond that is 45 carats. Now, obviously, diamond's more expensive than ruby, but again, these eyes each are 16,000 carats. So, like, they don't make things don't form like this. There is nothing as big as these rubies in the world because they don't exist. So the answer is
So
priceless.
it'd be worth far more than just like 71-pound rubies individually would be.
Yeah, obviously, because like the biggest ruby ever in real life is very big. It's 10,000 carats. That's the biggest carat that's ever been found on Earth. But, you know, Valeros has a lot less advanced mining than we do in real life, so they've never found anything close to that
How
big.
much is that worth in real life?
It's priceless. It's never been sold.
Oh.
Yeah. Also, it didn't form on Earth. It formed on a dying star and then hit Earth. But
That's so cool.
yeah, so these rubies you're holding are priceless because they're from another plane of existence, and it's not like Mithdosians or anyone is hopping over to other planes of existence, killing their monsters and looting their bodies.
Well, there is one group.
No. Which one are you thinking of?
Yes. The dwarves.
They didn't. When did you guys go to another? Oh, the elemental plane of Earth.
No,
I did forget about
we
that.
fucking airborned into
No,
that
wasn't
exact
the other
location
plane.
you're
That wasn't
talking about.
that was not another plane of existence. That was the Goshtok volcano. And you didn't kill any of
Yeah,
them.
that's what I'm.
You got Scalewood, and then you said, "Oh, guys, what if we snuck around a place instead?"
Oh, I wasn't there for that session. So.
Oh yeah, they skulked about the forge because they were terrified about one spotting them and then crushing them under their armor.
That's lame.
Yeah, well, I mean, they
But
all would have died horribly.
maybe a bit understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, the answer is priceless. So, that was a very long diversion. Hecko, can you move 2 tiles, please? Or 2 hexes?
Yes, that's right.
Alrighty. As you guys make camp that night, well, actually, it's before you make camp. It'd be 3 or 4 in the afternoon. As you guys finally get back on the road again, carrying the diamonds and the bag of holding and thinking about what else you'll do with that corpse in the future. You guys prepare to make camp, but you know, it's like 3 or 4, so you're just kind of looking for where you'll do it. You'll not. I think it's not like. I think Maximus, you notice, you know, when you guys first get into this particular area of mountains, which is a lot more rugged and rocky, that you see a couple of destroyed trees, like just completely obliterated. That alone is not that surprising. I mean, you know there's monsters in these mountains, and it doesn't look recent, so I don't think that draws that much attention. Then Grania, you notice there's this like sheer cliff face that kind of forms one edge of the valley that you're currently in, and that sheer cliff face has these little like divots in it, like thousands of little divots like scattered along its surface. That, again, kind of weird, but, you know, there's crazy shit in these there mountains. That's not an indication that it's a recent thing. But as you guys are looking for where to make a campsite, the trees here are too dense for Maximus to be flying around and see anything, so he's, like, clopping on the ground next to you guys. And so, Primius, at the front of the party, you kind of step forward and you see the corpse of a dire bear in a clearing ahead of you. Dire bears are native to these mountains. They are bears which are 22 feet high when they stand on their hind legs. They weigh thousands of pounds. Prior to all this crazy shit, they would be apex predators in these mountains. This one has been killed, but it hasn't been eaten. It has had exclusively its belly cut open and its innards devoured, but the rest of the body has been left just sitting there. And it's recent because there's still blood on the ground. There's no carrion that have touched the body yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna silently signal to the rest of the party that there's a body. I don't know how I would do that. I assume I would just like fist up and then point in the direction of where I think it is.
Easy enough.
I'm gonna divine sense real quick, just because
Yeah.
I don't know. It happened once
Can you
before.
put it in chat one more time? I'm trying to remember. It's just Fey, Fiend, Undead, right? That's just the 3 things it
Yeah.
detects. No, there's no
Yeah.
Fey, Fiend, or Undead within 60 feet. And no desecration
mainly
and
I-
no consecration.
Yeah. Man, I should have done that just to feel like unbelievable euphoria, just divine sense in the middle of like right when I meet the Emperor.
Yeah. Base.
You get flashbang, no?
No, because the way Divine Sense works is it's not like Detect Magic. It's way more experiential. So I believe Consecration is explained as like the divine ringing of bells. So anytime he's in a church, he can just like activate Divine Sense and just be like, happy.
But doing that in front of Aurelian Sol himself
Yeah,
must be
it
like...
could be a bit deafening. Yeah, that's true. I guess that's kind of true. It's just not specifically flashbang. Yeah. I do. What are we doing? There's a dire bear corpse.
Eat it. No,
Well,
Gross.
something killed it.
got it specifically.
So what looks like happened is the dire bear was fighting something. There is evidence that the creature it was fighting, it's unclear its size. Like there's not like destroyed trees around here or stuff like that, so it's not super clear how big the creature was. But the dire bear was fighting it. It has a bunch of like defensive wounds on its face, and then somehow the creature got it onto its back and then cut open its stomach and only ate its innards, like its organs and stuff, and then just kind of left it there. And the dire bear is still on its back, dead.
Well, is there a trail leading from the body?
No.
I'll look up.
I look.
Yeah. There's no broken treetops either, but there's also no obvious footprints.
What do I reveal anything with my bright eyes?
Yeah, I mean, let's get a party-wide investigation check as we kind of look around this clearing to try to find the offender. Oh, I just realized something. I think my Discord. I bet my Discord pings are going through on the stream, so I've been getting. Let me see. Oh, they are. Oh, I'm so sorry, Chowder. No. Yeah. He's probably been checking his Discord being like, oh fuck, I'm getting messaged. But it was me. Okay. Anyways. So we have 4 investigation checks. Who are we missing? Zednius.
Zenius, you stupid bastard.
No. He's not rolling.
No,
He's not.
that is
it's
not
so
how it's
over.
supposed to go.
It's so over.
No.
Well, Premius and Corvus, the two of you find that the reason you couldn't find footprints is because you're looking for like normal animal footprints. You're looking for bear paws. You're looking for wolves. You're looking for dragon claws. You're looking for human footprints. You're looking for anything of a creature of the size needed to kill a dire bear. What you find, though, as you look a bit closer, is similar to that wall that Grania saw with all the little divots in the stone. You see 1,000 little stab wounds in the ground. All throughout this clearing and going through the forest.
Is this like a giant centipede or something?
If it is, a single one of its legs is as big as a human leg.
Oh god. That's horrifying.
Giant centipede.
Well, so giant centipedes are real creatures. They exist in, like, the Delian League, for instance. Those things are as big as dogs. Not this.
Does the monster expert know anything?
I just told him what he does know.
Oh, alright. I don't know, maybe you could dig for a history check, but I'm not sure.
I mean, sure. Yeah, roll me a history check, Corvus.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just being distracted because a friend of mine needs tech support.
I got.
I can't.
Yeah, you know, in the Delian League, there's these things called centipedes. They're the size
No
of dogs.
way.
Yeah, I know. They're the size of dogs at their largest. They hunt individually as well, so they're a danger to children, 100%. But like a fully armored adventurer will always be able to kill a centipede, unless like they're pathetic. Like a level 1 wizard may die, but a fighter will just won't lose. Centipedes are just not a threat.
Yeah, like a wizard is ever level 1 wizard's gonna go and be like, yes, here's a good spot.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Well,
Well, I guess it's
There's something out here with us.
giant centipedes that they're in the league I'm aware of aren't nearly as large. So I don't think it's a centipede.
I hope not.
Just. Hey, do you want to go searching for it, or?
No, I don't think searching for it, but I'm just worried about setting up camp near where something like this could do this.
Well, yeah, of course.
Old reliable tiny hut.
It's true. Although that would be horrific, waking up and seeing whatever did this on top of the tiny hut.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be the
Eventually,
best.
tiny
Preferable
hut
to
would
see it on
end.
top of us. Also, that's while tiny hut might end, but like we have enough time.
True. And you have a 7th level spell slot, right? Clueless.
What?
You can teleport yourself out, right? Clueless.
No, I don't. What do you
I
mean?
know you don't.
You can just recast the tiny hut infinitely.
Yeah, and then you're
Switch
trapped
yourself.
there.
You also have. Can you cast it like in the last 10 minutes while it's still up?
It
Or
would
would
be.
you have to like time that
Let's
perfectly?
see. Spell ends.
I don't
Till the
see
spell
why you
ends.
wouldn't be able to.
It doesn't say that it ceases to like exist when like when you start channeling a new one. So yeah, you just.
What happens if you cast Tiny Hut in Tiny Hut?
I imagine it'd end the first tiny hut, but then it's fine
I'll
because you have a
create a new
second
one,
tiny
yeah.
hut.
Alright then.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it should work.
Yeah, you'd just be trapped for a week. Also, you 100% aren't resting because tiny huts are way too small. But yeah, what are we doing? Do we want to move on to another
yeah,
valley? We can
resting
force
time is not
march.
too small.
Disagree.
What last session you let us?
No,
rest
you're
tiny
short
hut
resting.
easy.
You're short resting. That's different than a long rest.
Oh, that's what you meant.
The 10-foot radius, bro. That's really small for 5 people and a horse.
Nah.
Anyways, are we
Well,
moving on to
yeah,
the next
we wanna-
valley, or are we making camp here? Because we'd have to force march immediately.
I don't want to be anywhere near this thing.
Yeah, I don't either.
Let's try getting some distance between us and that.
All right, everyone gain a level of exhaustion because the ward is on the glacier. So at night we are force marching onto the glacier, and that's very easily going to get you a level of exhaustion.
Yippee!
Also, we haven't done this yet, but now we get to roll on the night encounter table. Yippee, yippee, yippee! Let's get a D100.
Oh,
Those are all that. Actually, we didn't do any of
oh
this.
God.
Alrighty.
A 70 on the night encounter table.
All right.
Oh, my favorite encounter table.
In the dead of night, well, not quite the dead, in the early evening, the 5 of you begin your journey up the glacier towards the glacial ward. You don't know exactly where it is, you just know it's in this general vicinity. But soon enough, as the sun goes down, the glacier takes on a sort of otherworldly vibe to it. Permeus's eyes provide light at the head of the party, but it only just gives you more and more ice to see. And Maximus can no longer see the wide world. It's dark, so he just kind of trots alongside you. And it seems as if this ice will never end. It just keeps going, and it gets colder and colder and colder, and there's no snow. There's no little snowflakes. It is just cold as all hell. And that frigidness, even with your winter weather gear, starts to get pretty miserable. Your lips start to get cold. Your noses start to get cold. You have to pull the parka hoods tighter around your faces and start to reach up and manually rub your nose and your lips to try to keep some heat in them. No monsters come for you, but honestly, that would be a nice break. You could move really quickly, fight something, get some blood in your veins, but there's nothing. In fact, you don't even find proper campsites. During the day, you can see a wide swath of area looking for ravines and gorges and places protected from the wind. But what ultimately forces you to make camp is just the exhaustion in your bodies. You end up having the Pegasus kind of land on just a flat sheet of ice. You cast Tiny Hut, and the warmth that hits you almost immediately starts to make you sweat. You remove all of your various parkas and other sort of winter weather equipment. And soon enough, you're just 5 shivering people inside of a little tiny hut. The tiny hut is, of course, warm, but the ice that the tiny hut is placed atop is constantly cold. So if you lay down or sit down or whatever, you're just sitting on ice, which is slowly beginning to melt because of the temperature of the tiny hut. It's not ideal. Even tiny hut can't make a glacier pleasant to sleep on, but it doesn't give you a rest since you spent the night force marching, but it doesn't give you another level of exhaustion either. So the following morning, you guys awaken, still all with 1 level of exhaustion, but you're here. You're up on the glacier.
Yippee.
To
Yippee.
find this
Oh boy.
ward.
Yeah. Funnily enough, you guys have been to this tile before. You decided to search the one right next to it rather than this one, but you have actually been here before, which helps you kind of narrow down the places that it's not. Ultimately, you can find there's an ice cave, which was pointed out by the 3 judges who found this. It takes a bit of time to find that ice cave, but when you do, you can almost instantly see the ward, because going into this ice cave, carved into the wall is this ward. And it's really interesting because ice melts, glaciers move. They are essentially liquid in the way that they behave. It takes them a long time to move. They're very slow, but they do move like liquid. So for this to still be here means it must have been maintained, much like with the chalk wards. Also, it looks very weird. It's actually very hard to see when you're looking at it straight on. You have to look at it from a side or something, because this ice cave is buried in ice. It's ice all the way through. Light reflects through it very confusingly, and so it just kind of looks weird when you look at it head on. But looking at it from the side, you're able to see that this ward is perfectly intact. Unlike the one in the gorge, which had some smudging and some damage, this one is crystalline, perfect condition.
Oh, mint condition.
Mint condition glacier ward with holographic.
What is it? What is it made out
should-
of? Like chalk?
It's just no,
we
it's
got
not made out of
PSA 10 on
anything.
this?
It's carved into the ice.
Oh. Interesting.
Exactly. Is there some sort of magic that the ward itself is fortifying itself?
Ooh, I think Yogi's still not here, but it is
I'm
certainly
gonna
an
start
interesting
identifying
question.
the ward.
Okay,
Does that work?
sure. It's a spell, actually. So yeah, it should work fine. Yogi said he got 3 hours of sleep. What if Bro just honked Schmied in his chair? That'd be so sad.
No, I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
hi.
I'm here. I'm here.
Wait.
Well, there he is.
This marking
He woke
right
up.
here.
He's
Did
back,
we
he's
know there
back.
was a ward on here already, or this is the one we were looking for?
Yeah. No, this is marked by the pair of the trio of judges you guys met.
Okay.
You cast Identify on the glyph on the glacial ward. What you receive is static, which is the first time you've ever received this in your entire mage career. Essentially, you
Static is
hear your
fuck
own
off.
voice babbling into your ear, which is nothing. It means nothing.
Well, I have no idea what this thing's trying to, what this is about.
So it's not magical then?
No, I'm certain it's magical. It has like a interruption on it.
Huh?
Like some sort of spell on it that, or part of it that makes it impossible for me to decipher.
Well, how about it? Are we in there yet? I assumed we were just still on top of the glacier
Oh,
looking
you're in
in.
the ice cave.
Oh,
Looking at it. It's quite large. It's carved across the wall of this ice cave. It's about 40 feet across. It's a real big ward.
how big is this ice cave?
Very large.
Is there I kind of want to go like looking around the word, like
Bro's
I
looking
guess
for
deeper
a
into the.
Remoraz skull emoji.
Yeah, true.
No, so the ice cave is basically one giant chamber. It extends a little bit deeper inward. You're not sure what carved this ice cave out originally. It is clearly not like a creature. The walls look like they kind of melted into this shape. So some sort of heat source probably. You can see the rest of the cave here. The cave over in the corner, there's some sign of like inhabitation. It's nothing definitive. It's like little bits of bone. It's little scraps of like kind of very shittily made linen and like little frayed bits of like rope detritus. But it's all in one corner of the cave away from the ward.
Yeah.
Cyclops junk.
I just to be sure, like to look around for anything that's abnormal within the cave that's not the ward.
What is abnormal?
Yeah, I guess like
Not normal. As well.
anything similar to like the bones or cloth, where it's just like, oh, I guess something that could tell us a little more about like who's
yeah.
been down here.
Yeah, you find a piece of Imperial ration paper.
Oh. I wonder who could have left this.
It's a mystery.
Which one was it, Alex?
Which ration was it?
I give it. Yep.
You give it a sniff. It's the hardtack.
The
All
worst
reliable.
one.
It's the best one, actually.
It's the worst one, dude.
You like soaking your bread in water for 45 minutes so that you can chew on it and
Yeah.
destroy your molars?
Trust me, beef jerky is the best one.
Well, Yogi, subtract 5 rations since you guys are spending the day searching this plateau.
How many do we have left?
7 days.
See, yeah, 35. So 7.
Because he said you had 10 days 3 days ago.
Ooh.
Well, Corvus, what else? So you guys were seeking this out to see what type of other wards there were. So far, you've seen the Gorge Ward, which you guys technically discovered. I mean, in a really strict sense, because the other people who discovered it all died. And then you discovered this one. Or, sorry, you have come to this one. You didn't really discover it. Is there any insights that you are hoping to gain from this to assist in your search for another of them?
Yes, essentially in the writing, all of these are like they're essentially related, right?
In what way?
They all do something that like my idea is that they all are part of like one large area.
Yeah, so the current thinking of Aurelius, the judge, the most foremost arcane person assigned to this, his theory is that the various subcircles of the wards have discrete effects that just kind of work on their own. So each of the wards is doing those things. However, the outer circle of the ring, so the main circle that contains all these subcircles, each of those is connected to a larger network, which then expands the effects of those subcircles to the entire mountain range. But the reason this has been unconfirmed is because for that to work, you would need a central circle, a master circle, connecting all the other circles, which has not been found yet. So it could be that all 6 of these are just independently doing these effects in a certain area, or they are all linked through a central one and then applying the effects. And 4 of those effects, the other 2 are untranslatable under current magical understanding.
Is this one different than the others? Or than the others I've seen?
So the only one you personally observed is the Gorge Ward. And this one is different insofar as being more clear, more well maintained, but no, none of the you have your etchings of the Gorge Ward. You notice in some areas where that was smudged, this is crystal clear, but no, it's not different. In fact, there's the exact same nonsense lettering on the outside that Aurelius speculates exclusively exists to confuse people.
Well, I think the one thing we could say for certain is if we go to the other glacier on the other side of the mountains, we could probably find it in a cave similar to this. So, I mean, it makes sense. It saves it from any kind of weathering that could happen on top. So,
Maybe.
um,
What's the highest peak in this mountain range, Alex?
It would probably be Mons Domitus, which was renamed in the reign of the first emperor, after the first emperor. It is located on the southern glacier.
Is it like it's been like climbed before
No.
or summited? I suppose.
Well,
no.
I mean, it has, but not legitimately.
did someone just teleport to the top of it?
Some motherfucker
Yeah.
Flew.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone
Is
just
it
flew.
climbable?
No. Again, like no one has legitimately climbed it.
Yeah, just because
they
no
flew
one's
up.
bothered, or because it's super difficult.
I mean, one, there's not a big mountaineering culture in Mythdosia. Two, for anyone but adventurers with wizards with them, mountains are insanely fucking lethal. If you guys didn't have Corvus, you would have died already, probably. Almost certainly, actually. And then three is that so the mountain range is actually not particularly big, the Atlian Mountains. The highest peak here is a little bit under 3,000 feet, which is not that big. The exception to that being Mons Domitus, which was once called Heaven's Tip. It is only about 1,000 feet higher than the surrounding mountains, but its prominence, which means its height in comparison to the mountains near it, is about 2,000 feet. So it's basically this jagged spire of stone rising straight up through the earth, which makes it essentially unscalable because of how sheer it is. Think like, K2 compared to Everest. Everest is obviously taller, but K2 is more prominent, so it's more dangerous to climb.
Yeah.
And none of you have mountaineered in your life, so the odds of you dying, if you're not using magic, are very high.
However, magic.
However, you have magic.
Is there a theory on if these have been here this entire time, or
Yeah, so this is actually a thing Cato asked you guys to think about, which is you guys have a bunch of data points, and there's no coherent narrative attaching all of these data points, like Dracolich, Draconomicon, Cyclopses in the hills, ancient ruins. But so far, no one has developed a coherent narrative to string all this together to explain why the fuck this is happening now. What does the Scream have to do with this? Is the Scream related to other things? Is the Necromortis involved with it? Like, how does any of this shit fit together? That is unclear at the moment. Yeah.
Alright.
And admittedly, I would be willing to refresh you on some details because some aspects of this, like the Scream, for instance, happened in real life like two and a half years ago. So I don't really expect you to remember those details. That is one of the downsides of having shit planned out in advance, is that no one fucking remembers.
well, human nature. I mean, the Rangers would probably know
About
if at least a couple, like especially like the Valley Glyph or something, had been there this whole time.
They explicitly told you that the Valley Ward had been there because they used it as a bait point for hunting
That's right,
Cyclopses to extinction.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it had been there for at least 100 years, at least.
Okay, so it's a solid, well, it's a fair assumption to assume that these have been here for a while.
Yeah.
Which probably means there's not one on Mount Dominus if random but wizard bozos are just going up there.
Well, they're just going to the peak. They're not like scanning the whole mountain. They're just going to the highest point, taking a etching, putting it on their etchtagram, and then they're leaving.
Fuck my Instagram. Tweet for the Instagram.
If you were putting a glyph on Mount Everest, you got to put it on the north face or the summit.
It's so true.
Right?
I mean,
who knows? I think the best thing we could do next is get a good I guess, view of the southern glacier and try and get a view of where the Necro Dragon is flying.
Is that the working name for the Beast of Atlia? Now we're calling it the Necro Dragon.
I think we're calling it Draco Lich, no?
In
How would you
the
say Draco Lich in German?
You don't.
That'd be good.
you don't.
I don't know is the real answer.
Drachengulen. Have you ever read the German PHB? I read one of them when I was in Munich,
No,
and
I
it was
haven't.
cracking me the fun. They call warlocks Hexenmeisters.
That I do know. They call them Witch Masters.
Yeah, and they call rangers Jäger.
Well, that
Yeah, I mean,
Which means hunter.
just
Well, that makes
hunter, I
sense.
guess.
Yeah, it's funny, man. It's funny.
That's fair. One problem with that is that if the Draco if you can see it, then it can see you.
Well, there was
Wasn't
that one time
apparent
I
the
flew
last
over you and
time.
didn't see
I was
you.
about to say, yeah. It does, well, no, it doesn't. That doesn't mean it didn't see
True,
us.
it
That
didn't
just
kill
means
you.
it didn't care.
Yeah. You also like banged your hammer on your shield a bunch and started screaming.
It was
Oh,
several
yeah,
miles
man.
away.
It was way the fuck up there. All right.
My point is, like, you could hide. Like both things can be true.
I suppose that is true. It's just it flies several miles up, and we don't. It's gonna see us long before we see it. Again, whether it cares or not is a whole different debate, but
It's merely a suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, I think now that we have all the information we do, I think it's worth sitting down and think. Obviously, the task you were given by Cato is find the next ward, but he also said that, constructing a narrative could be helpful. So do we want to go like analytical mode and try to like contextualize all the stuff we've seen? Do we want to just go to the Southern Glacier and just kind of like blindly feel around looking for something? Do we want to follow the flight patterns of the Draco Lich and hope he takes you to another ward? What's the thoughts?
that may actually not be a bad idea.
I mean, so what we know from the hunters is they've always seen it flying south. So something's going on in the southern glacier.
But did they say if they saw it flying back?
Yeah.
Alex? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so what they told you specifically was that from Mons Atlia, which has a very good view of the valley, the central valley, they could see pretty easily that the Beast of Atlia is very active. It's not like just sitting on its little wherever its lair. It frequently was doing flyovers. You guys have only seen it once, but they described that it was a lot more frequent than that, every couple of days. And it would fly north, and then it would fly back south. Though they didn't always see its return journey because it does stuff all hours of the day. It never sleeps. It works at night and day.
But it'd be like a break. It flies north. A little bit later, it flies south. Then a longer break.
Yeah.
Why would it break?
So on and
It's
so forth.
dead.
Okay, all right.
No, he's right. There are breaks.
Oh, there are.
I just
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
like
there's a gaps in
that's
time.
how you would identify that it's flying north and then south, as opposed to flying south and then north.
Yeah, it would spend typically less than a day in the north and then be in the south for days.
You know what I think? You know what I think might be a thing? I think it's the one doing these wards and protecting the wards. That was the reason why it was protecting it and why it's so agitated now and checking on these wards frequently. And I think it flying north and south is it manually flying to these wards and then back.
Do you think that we could use its movements to track where the wards are?
Well, I mean, we already know where the wards are. I'm saying there's 4 wards
of
on the north. Right. But there's a couple of them close to the northern glacier. There's this one, there's the one in the gorge, there's the one south of here made of in the valley. So what I'm saying is it's going from its lair north to these three wards, and the only reason why it hasn't been observed to the other ones is because it's just right next to those ones.
I thought the prevailing theory was that the wards had been used to keep it away or trap it or just like limit it somehow.
I mean, what is the exact what we know of the wards, Corvus? What exactly does it do?
That's
Good point. I don't think.
what exactly has all my
Like
research yielded so far.
Well, your research has revealed 2 subcircles. Then your apprentice developed a theory for one, which proved largely incorrect and got corrected. And then Aurelius translated one himself. The 4 subcircles that are currently pretty well understood are a subcircle, basically a banishing spell. The subcircle gives a creature listed by its true name, which it banishes. It just casts the banish spell on that creature, but the banish spell is modified to, rather than sending it to its home plane, it sends it to a particular plane, which is also spoken with in true name verbiage. Then there is another subcircle that creates a demi-plane with the same true name as the banishing subcircle. Then there is a subcircle of mind shielding, which basically prevents the circle from... basically prevents knowledge of the subcircle from being removed, basically, is the best way to describe it. So, like, if you...
Like from...
you know about the plateau wards, so mind manipulation magic can no longer remove your knowledge of it as long as those wards are functioning. That's what that subcircle does.
Even if they put on the cowl?
Even if they put on the cowl, even if they do modify memory, even if they do... It should work against any type of, like... Obviously, it's not rewriting reality, but it, like... Does the Black Cowl actually rewrite the history of the world, or does it just change people's memories? If it's the second one, then it should work. If it's the first one, then obviously, can't overcome that. And then the last subcircle is a modified version of Private Sanctum, which prevents the same creature listed in the Ward of Banishing from teleporting in or out of the presumably Atlian Mountains, though that part's a guess. If you want me to, like, formalize this, I can, because I do have notes here. But... So those are the 4 subcircles.
Okay, so these wards are geared at essentially keeping something contained.
Yes, that creature's true name is brought up like almost, okay, with the exception of the ward of mind shielding.
What is its true name?
It's very long, but I will put it in the chat.
Has someone been able to decipher the true name?
How would you do that? It's a proper noun.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's like a decoding thing where similar glyphs appear in different parts of the circle, so you're able to identify.
Well, luckily, because of our Fey arc, you guys know all about true names. True names are not like some crazy magical shit. It's literally just the name that you recognize as being yourself. So in the case of a Fey, that is typically really long, obscure shit. But for Maximus, his true name is Maximus. It's that simple. It's actually not complicated at all. So in the case of this creature, what you could look for is like, oh, is this a language that we recognize? The answer is no. Is this a name that we recognize from history? The answer is unfortunately no. And once you kind of run out of those two, it's like, well, that's someone's name.
Does the true name appear in because like that should be a constant throughout the glyph, and does the true name appear in the other 2 circles?
That is a very good question. One of them, yes. Let me go check the other one. And the other one, yes. Yeah, the other 2 subcircles also mention the true name.
Okay, so they at least relate to...
Yes, every single
then.
subcircle, with the exception of the mind shielding one, explicitly calls out the creature by name that it affects.
Hey, put Legends lore in the chat.
Ooh. We're getting crazy with it. We're using high-level spells. Whoa! I don't know who has legend lore.
It's Zenius. But can we cast it on like things, not just creatures?
I guess we'll see. I'm trying to give you access to my notes, but I need to trim these down because these notes have things that you don't know yet. But I am making the subcircle notes to share with you.
I mean, Legends lore should work on objects because it would work on like artifact level magical objects, right?
No, it's a Yogi question. But he's a sleepy boy.
Coming.
Yogi. Oh my god, he is just falling asleep each time. That's exactly what's happening. That Rihanna just fell out of his chair.
He was staying up late to watch basketball.
Oh, I thought it was football.
Love of the game.
I actually don't know either. I just assumed it was basketball.
It's basketball.
Yeah.
Football
Packers,
is not in
man.
season.
To say, who the fuck is the
They're the Pacers.
Okay. The Pacers
I'd say
sound more like
Packers is football.
Yeah.
Oh, I confused them with Packers. That's the Green Bay Packers.
Person, place, or object, yeah. So if we put everything we possibly know, which is when it was first discovered, what it was originally used for by the Rangers, every single bit of information each subcircle has revealed to us, up until everything, up into the true name, maybe it can tell us information about the inner circles.
Well, legend lore, I believe, it's very unlikely that it will give you information about what the other two subcircles do, because it primarily gives stories, legends, and secret lore, not like specific decodings of how a spell works, which is what those subcircles would be.
What it might do is like describe what happened to this creature whenever this thing was activated in the first place, and if it says like two things that, you know, like it created a demi-plane, then it banished it to the demi-plane, then it did two more things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think that makes sense.
One could presume those two more things were the things.
I think it's worth a shot, is my
Things
point.
might be the things. Yeah.
Okay.
My logic was sound.
This is the redacted version of my notes that of what the subcircles you currently know about do.
I was asking for the true name.
Oh, yeah. Let me go find that.
True names are always fun.
If it's Karen, we know where we find him. The manager.
So I think what the banishing spell... Oh, Lemodon.
That's just Lemodon with a bunch of shit in the middle.
Or maybe Lemodon is just the true name with a bunch of shit taken out.
Lemodon.
Lemodon,
Demodon, owner of the Dimsdale Dimodon.
This
Lemodon,
potentially might not be its...
Ropehill Donadon. Jesus.
This might not be its true name anymore.
That is 100% distinctly possible and could be the reason why these words aren't working in the first place. That is 100% true, because that, you know, that happens with Fae. I'm pretty sure you guys have experienced this during the Green Rider arc.
Can this all be fixed if we somehow figure out how to pronounce that?
If that's the problem. No. He's not saying it's a pronunciation thing. He's saying that the creature described may no longer even view themselves as that name and may now associate with a new identity. Like we just I remember in the Green Rider arc, this was discussed with Grania, because obviously Grania, that's not her name. That wasn't the name she was born with. That's not what she went by for a long time. But now for years, Grania has been called Grania, to the point where like she responds to Grania and almost no other name. Even the Fluttering one calls her Grania most of the time. And so that by now is probably starting to become her true name. And so it could be that. It also could not be that. But it is a possibility. Because he's right. Every single one of these subcircles only works on that specific creature.
It's just me as Hakon roboting like crazy.
Gasp.
It's just you. Just you.
I think it's just you.
Okay, good.
Oh shit, everybody's roboting like crazy.
That answers that.
Yeah, it does.
That's pretty good theory.
Yeah, we could legend lore.
It's just a...
I mean,
shit, might as well.
Didn't you buy the dust for Legends lore?
You have to wake him
Yogi
from
would
his
have it.
slumber.
No,
he has
we
to,
don't. We
yeah.
don't have the dust. We don't have the dust.
I'm pretty sure we
No!
got it though.
You did. You cast
It's not on
legend
my
lore with
sheet.
it.
It's not on my sheet.
If
so
it's
we
not
don't
on
have
a
it.
sheet.
Ooh.
If it's not on a sheet, it's not on a sheet.
But then it's not real.
Them's the
I was
breaks.
pretty sure we had stuff for one casting.
I think you cast it already.
And then I think we
did
cast
not.
it.
Yeah.
We
I don't
did?
think we did.
I'm like
did.
98% sure you cast legend lore after
Unless
the
you bought it
Draconomicon.
before we left.
No, we didn't.
Most recently, then we definitely used it.
Yeah, we 100% cast legend lore.
What did we get from that?
I don't remember. It was
It was a
during
follow-
the. It was when you
some
guys were in the
dragon
desert, I
stuff.
think.
We never cast it.
I
No,
think you're wrong.
no, we didn't
Okay,
cast
then what we
it.
learned from it.
I don't remember, but that doesn't mean you didn't do it.
I don't.
Yeah, that's how
I don't think we
that's
ever
how it
even
works.
bought the
That's
material.
how it
I don't
works.
think
If
we
you can't
cast it
remember
or
it,
bought the
didn't happen.
material.
Oh, well, if you never bought the materials, then cooked.
I think we were like, we should do it, and then we realized we didn't have enough
Oh,
info,
yeah,
so we
the
didn't buy it.
materials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we-
think
no, we
that's
didn't-
gonna happen
Like,
continuously.
we didn't have enough like surrounding info to get something super useful, so we
I
never.
see.
And
Well-
now we're in the middle of nowhere. So when we get back, we could do it.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, since this is a consistent problem, you could just go back now and do it, and just like get
I
enough
think-
for multiple castings.
I think we're low on food. I think we have enough to get back, and I think we should just go back and convene for Legends lore.
How many more days of food do we have?
6 or something.
7,
6 or 7.
I think.
It's still 7. I don't know. Unless
Yeah, should
I
still
missed
no. I
one.
haven't. We haven't moved. It's still 7, I think.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, then don't see any issue with just staying for like a few more days, searching for another world, and then leaving.
I mean, like, that's if we don't run into any weather problems. Is my point.
Ooh, you did get stuck for 3 days in a row once.
Yeah, relying on the Atlia Mountains to be kind to you is kind of a foolhardy request.
And we are like almost as deep in the mountains as one can get.
Yeah.
Well, then it can't get any worse now, can it?
Oh, but
Right.
wouldn't it
See,
Wouldn't it
flawless
take
logic
us,
right
like-
there.
wouldn't it take us like 7 days alone to get down to the southern glacier?
To the Southern Glacier, that'd be way more than 7 days.
Why would
That's
we
like
go to the
100
southern
miles
one?
away.
The northern one is closer to Mithdosica.
It's 40 miles away. Yeah, I don't know. Do as you wish.
So it'd take us 1 day to get off the glacier. I guess 2 more days, give or take, to get off the mountains, and 1 more to get
Yeah,
back
you could
to
be back in
Mithdosica?
Mythos in 4 days.
Okay, so that leaves us 3 days to.
assuming
don't
no
know-
weather problems.
I just don't know. Another thing is, I don't know what we could do with 3 days to ourselves up here. We could also just save those rations for when we come back, and we just buy less rations, or just take less rations.
I mean, yeah. I'm not sure what 3 extra days is going to get us, especially if we're not going to be searching up here anymore.
Like, they're definitely not going to put another ward next to this ward unless that's what they want us to think. And they're like, what if we put the Master Circle right next to the Glacier ward?
No way of knowing.
Yeah, you're
That's
playing
either
Battleship, but you don't know the shape of the enemy ships.
Battleship, but they pile every ship into the bottom right corner.
And the board is like 50,000 by 50,000 hexes instead of 25 by 25. Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly surprising you found as many wards as you have.
Got a lot of people searching.
You do indeed have a lot of people searching. Wizards with scrying and fucking 50 judges and inquisitors.
All right, yeah, I vote we head back.
All right.
I think we head back as well.
Well then, let's get -5 rations, a D100 from Ethan.
I think you guys are cowards.
Gasp.
Okay,
Oh.
what would you do for 3 days?
I think he was doing a bit.
Well,
Shid, fart, and
in this case, it doesn't matter too much because as you guys prepare to leave the glacier, it begins to snow and a blizzard begins. So you make no progress today. Let's do -5 more rations and another D100.
Well,
Eternal winter is coming.
Alrighty. The blizzard continues. The blizzard continues, so -5 more rations. Let's get to 100.
I see.
I was just reading something.
No.
Okay, the blizzard abates. So yeah, who was moving it? I think Heko was. You can move 1 tile. Alrighty, D100 and -5 rations. Okay, an uneventful day. You can move 2 tiles, Heko.
Get us out! Get us out! Get us out!
We've actually been trapped in our own minds where we thought we were moving the whole time.
All right, you descend from the mountains and -5 more rations. Actually, no, you can just requisition it from the commoners. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that. Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys spend the next day walking back to Mythos. I think this is the first time you've returned on foot. The other times you've teleported back. So you burned another week on just not even this expedition to the mountains. This expedition to the mountains was like 2.5 weeks. You burned a week just getting from where the aboleth fucked with you to the mountains and then back down out of the mountains. God, I forgot how much time travel burns. But yeah, you guys get back to Mythos, desperately in need of showers and cleaning your armor and proper food. You learn that in your absence, not much has happened. There's no terrible battles. The winter continues and the campaign season remains sizzling. There's no update from the Office of Judges either. Also, Corvus, you got like 5 short rests, so you can do any hit dice you want. Also, all your exhaustion is gone since you guys got a bunch of short rests. And you can head back to the good old capital of Mythos.
First things first. I'd like to hold those rubies for a second.
Okay, you hold them.
I bring them to the Department of Faith.
Okay. Are you going to a temple or the Department of Faith?
Well, I guess a temple for the rubies, and then I was going to talk to the Department of Faith about getting rid of the fire giant corpse.
Okay. Well, the purification of the rubies is very simple. They will ask for a donation to the church.
I got 20 gold on me.
Okay, you give them 20 gold. They douse the rubies in some holy water, and you go on your merry way. Regarding the Department of Faith, what are you asking them?
Basically, I want to talk to them about a way to get access to, I guess, either a scroll of ceremony or any ways to consecrate the body or the armor.
Okay, well, just like the Department of Magic, they have a scroll repository. In fact, I'm pretty sure that you guys, I know Zenius has been there because that's where he was. He spent like a session there, looking into the dagger, that one dwarven dagger, Crunfundus or whatever it was. So there is like a whole area where you can just get clerical scrolls. Which scroll do you want to get?
Ceremony, because that's the easiest and cheapest one.
That is a one level ritual. Also, the Department of Faith has to fall under the Department of Magic pricing cartel, so a first level ritual costs 10 gold pieces.
Oh, well, luckily I have 200 gold in my Imperial Siphon.
Okay. you do that. You buy a scroll. It's pretty simple.
All right. Well, before I buy it, can I like talk to a higher up on like what I found and if that would work, or if I would have to like consecrate each individual part?
So the
of
Department of
body?
Faith does not have priests in it.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, this is worth, reviewing again. 80 years ago, the church was an entirely independent entity in the Empire. Like, they did worship Aurelian's soul, but they did not worship the Emperor because the Emperor was just a guy. Like, he was a political leader. Then Aurelian Varus Sol declared himself to be God, and the church lost their fucking minds, and a civil war broke out called the Light Wars. Ultimately, Aurelian Varus Sol won, and he was recognized as a god. And of course, I mean, we as proper Orthodox worshippers of the faith know he was always God, but the Empire just finally recognized him for what he was the entire time. And in the process of that, he butchered the church. He carved up a lot of its responsibilities, giving it over to different government departments, but he still needed like a church because he still was the head of the faith. So rather than let it remain an independent entity, he kind of grafted it into the imperial government structure by making this thing called the Department of Faith. The people in the Department of Faith are not priests, they're not clerics, they're not paladins, they are bureaucrats of the Empire, typically senators, who rise through the ranks and run the church like it's another department. There are actual priests in the church, the highest rank of them being an ecclesiarch or an archimandrite. Those are both very high-ranking. Ecclesiarchs are technically higher, but they're like, they basically max out around the rank of like a proconsul. The actual leaders of the department are all just like political leaders, not religious ones.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so
you
if I
are
wanted
more
to
magical than any member of the Department of Faith, like the bureaucracy of it.
Okay. I guess once I buy it, I will go find a cleric in like a church and ask him
Great.
like.
You make your way to the Shrine of the Unconquerable Flame, the oldest shrine in Mythos. It's a small building, but it is a holy place, for it was here that Aurelian Varus Sol unveiled his divinity to the people. This is a shrine that gets a lot of foot traffic, so it has a very large number of clerics for its size. It has 20 on staff. Most of its size have 1 or 2. So this is the most reliable place you'll be able to find a cleric that's actually free to talk for a little bit. Most of the clerics here are on the older side, people who had a life of dedicated faith, and then at the very end, when they died to unnatural causes, they are brought back and given a new lease on life. You're able to get an audience with one of them. It is a mother. Her head is bald. She has like soft, pale, glowing golden eyes, and she'll speak with you in the alcove of the shrine.
Mother, I just needed a quick recommendation on how to consecrate a body that was found in the mountains. I've purchased a scroll of ceremony, however, it's quite a massive body, and I wanted to do this correctly.
Massive body?
It was the body of a fire giant, 30 feet tall.
Familiar.
It's a humanoid. It's immune to being burned, so I could not destroy the body. And so it had a massive warhammer, about 16 feet of pure steel and armor on it, though.
Oh my.
Indeed.
You said
would you
you
say...
intended to do a ceremony?
Yes.
I think that may be difficult for something of the scale that you're discussing. You would likely be better served with a hallow spell.
I was afraid of that.
Ceremony will consecrate bodies, but typically only children or smaller. You can also consecrate holy water, but again, something must be totally doused in holy water, and for something as large as you describe, I don't think there's that much holy water in all of Mythos.
I see. Well, I will do what must be done. Thank you for the information.
She nods. May the Emperor bless you.
And you. And I will go back to the Department of Faith and see how much a hollow spell is.
Yeah, 1,500 gold.
Oh!
That's the price fixed price, by the way. That's the cheaper price.
Yeah.
Is it time for another loan?
Jesus Christ, he's already in debt to
Oh,
you.
God. Only by 1,000
Wait,
gold.
but
Only by $1 million.
wait. Isn't this like way easier to? Wouldn't it be way easier for you to just go? Oh, there's this gigantic desecrated body. Somebody needs to take over it, and then just give it to the Department of Faith. And they
Who the fuck are they gonna send? They're Inquisitors? Those guys are already in the mountains doing other shit.
Well,
Who are they gonna send? They're judges?
tough luck.
Also, I found the body, so the responsibility falls onto me to finish the work that I started.
Yeah, but you're doing more important things, so just tell them that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could justify that
Dude,
when I die.
Fucking.
So,
Can't a
what
dude
did you...
just have like personal beliefs?
No.
Why can't bro just like, hey, this is important to me, and all of us just be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, it's just like I think it's so crazy that he has to pay for this. It's like a sacred duty, so that Department of Faith should just give the money, just give it to him.
No, that's sounding...
If they care about having
the bureaucracy,
if they care,
You're sounding kind of heretical right now,
Yeah, this
brother.
guy's the
You
lead.
wanna
This
keep
guy's not
talking?
even. This guy's such a Mythosian fucking op, dude.
Yeah.
If
This
the
guy
Department of
doesn't love
Faith
the
wants
Emperor.
to get something done,
Mods,
then they
investigate
should
this
probably
man.
bankroll that. No?
Everyone knows the second commandment of Aurelian Varus' soul says that all coin goes on to Caesar. That's the whole quote. There's nothing else. There's no other context. That's the quote.
Well, I don't see any other way. I'll get a loan from Maximus.
The Bank of Maximus, a venerable
Bank of
institution.
is open for business.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to,
You're loaning him another 1,500.
I want to do this conversation in character.
Okay. Well, you guys are back in the capital.
Before I do that, is there a regular bank that would just give me a loan?
Yeah, of course there is. It's called the Department of Coin.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll go to the Department of Coin.
Okay,
Fuck
sure.
you, Maximus.
You make your way to the Department of
smart.
Coin in Mythos, the largest
He's
bank
gonna
in
be
the
real
world.
sad when he gets there and learns about the interest payment.
Oh, is there an interest payment?
Yeah, of course there fucking is. It's a loan.
Hey, man!
Oh,
It's an
okay.
unsecured loan.
What do you think was gonna be up?
Time to go to Maximus with a 0 interest rate.
Yes, Sterling. Alex,
That is
just
so
for my
fucking
notes,
funny.
what is the interest rate for Department of Coin loans?
The answer is it wildly varies, and realistically, if Premius was willing to like swing his dick around like royal family, like because he's a part of the imperial family, he could probably get a 0 interest loan. Because while yes, it is an unsecured loan, he also gets like $1 million a month. So and that's like guaranteed by the imperial government. So he is as financially reliable as the government itself, essentially.
All right.
But that would require him pulling rank, which he almost never does. So he'd probably end up paying around 3 to 5%.
All right, cool.
But
Okie dokie.
so are you going to the Bank of Maximus?
Weird to like say the Emperor's name. It's like, oh, I'm just related to the Emperor. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
I
for
don't-
Premius, it does feel weird because he's a semi-normal person somehow. Well, he's something. He's humble. I would say at least he's humble. He doesn't constantly be like, did I mention perusing? You almost never do that.
I mean, like, yeah, he's just like a maniac murderhead.
Yeah,
but other
you
than
could do that in almost every conversation with almost no downsides. So,
well, maybe I should do that more often.
it would work. It's
I'm
God
Premius, I'm a maniac
and
murderer.
Emperor.
What can I say?
But also,
God is my dad.
Well, your second cousin,
Well, no.
uncle, great uncle, something like that.
Distant
I think he's my uncle, is what we've established.
I think that's right. Or maybe great uncle because he's old as fuck. I think he's your great
It's
uncle.
yeah.
Grunkle.
Grunkle.
Yeah.
Your father's brother or your grandfather's
Well, no,
brother?
it'd be his grandfather's brother because Aurelian Invictus Soul is literally
Yeah.
98 years old. So,
Yes, so great uncle.
yeah, Grunkle.
Yep.
Are you going to the Bank of Maximus or the Bank of Mithdosica?
I think Bank of Maximus because it's easier to convince him.
Okay. You
Yep,
make your
that's-
way to the villa you all have been staying at. Zednius and Grania and Corvus are off buying large quantities of material, components, and rations. But Maximus is in the stable, spending time with a very jealous Mickey. He just spent weeks away from home at like this kind of work thing with another horse, and it just makes Mickey feel really like weird. And so Maximus is spending some time back at home. And as you head to the stables and you find Maximus feeding yet another sugar cube to Mickey, petting his mane, assuring him
I swear,
he's not a floozy.
I haven't been with my horsestress. I swear.
Why do you smell like another horse?
I shouldn't. That horse doesn't smell.
Exactly.
Right. It was in the mountains for 2 days.
Which horse? That was
Forgot my
a
saddle.
Shit.
So, Primius, you walk into the stables and Maximus is there, petting Mickey.
Maximus,
Oh, hi, Primus.
I need 1,500 gold.
Huh?
Oh, I need 1,500 gold.
Do you now?
Yes.
What for?
A hollowed spell. Obviously, I would pay you back.
Oh, this is that the fire giant thing.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That. You know what? Actually, this is ideal because now I can get all of my bullion exchange into actual coin, and I don't have to go through those fuckers. goddamn money changers.
What
I
is
hate
bullion?
those bastards.
Gold bullion
Gold
is
bars,
bars.
I think.
Yeah, it is indeed bars.
I mean, you were the one that insisted that you melt it down to make it easier.
No. He got bullion because it weighed, way less than having. I don't even remember the number of bags that was going to be. It was going to be so many bags that it was like became a logistical problem.
My brother in Christ, have you heard of a bank account?
That's what he has. He's not carrying the gold bars on him.
Yeah.
He's got
Oh,
like
I
a
thought he
Harry
was.
Potter bank account, like
It's
in the
just
first
like-
movie.
Like it would have been
the
so
Green God type
much
shit.
that it's a logistical issue getting it from the Department of Magic even to the bank.
Correct. The bullion solves a lot of
Like-
problems. Not to mention that the government also has to interact with the Money Changers Guild,
good,
and so
tough
they
life.
only give out some like certain large quantities. They only do in bullion or in platinum stars because coins become a problem.
And this is what I'm doing here is one of those little like technical ways to avoid the.
Yeah, I mean there are many ways to avoid the Money Changers Guild. They're just all not
Yeah, like
feasible
killing
for
whoever's
large scale.
responsible.
Well, there has been a kingdom that's tried that, but it didn't turn out too well. But yeah, this is one of the ways that you can technically do it. It's just kind of
Being a lone op.
yeah. I mean, even then. So think about this right. So what you're doing, you're not actually. I mean, you are money changing, but it's in a way where you're not actually like. They're still getting their cut. Like you're giving bullion to Primius. Primius is then probably giving that bullion to the Department of Faith. But if the Department of Faith ever wants to do any small-scale purchases or do any type of money, they're still going through the Money Changers Guild. So you're not actually changing. You yourself technically are changing money, but for that bullion to ever turn into anything else, they have to go through the Money Changers Guild still. So it is technically a loophole for you, but not for the economy as a
Not
whole.
in their eyes.
Yeah.
If you're a kingdom or something, and you do try and get around the Money Changers Guild, do they like Bank of Bravos you and just fund someone to overthrow you or some
Well,
shit?
there's only one city-state within the last decade who has tried this, that being the city of Gladell. And about a year and a half after they kicked out the Money Changers Guild, a mercenary company killed the entire royal family, overthrew the city, and seized control.
Yep.
You could have just
So-
said yes.
Yep.
I mean, there's not necessarily a causational connection between those events. That's just what
Yeah.
happened, okay?
Smile.
Okay, bud. All right. Yeah.
A mercenary group that was hired killed
It's-
everyone.
No, the mercenary group was hired by the city itself. They just broke their contract and killed all their employers.
Yeah, we can go. We'll have to go to the bank to get you some bullion, but yeah, we can do
Alright.
that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you can do this whole
alright,
transfer
yeah,
at
let me-
1,500 to your Blake debt.
Yep. Your debt is now 500 more than it was when we first started this
You
whole
said
thing.
500 more? Rather. Oh, because you paid off some.
Yes.
Well,
Okay. Yeah. You
It-
go buy a Scroll of Hallow, a 5th circle. By the way, the only reason this is so expensive is not actually because of being a 5th level spell. It's because it has 1,000 gold in material components. The scroll itself costs 500, but the material components add 1,000 to the cost.
I was gonna ask about that, yeah.
Yeah. Technically, the ceremony spell should have cost 25 extra, but I forgot. But yeah, you have a Scroll of Hallow and a Scroll of Ceremony on your sheet. Hallow will work, by the way, because it works in a 60-foot radius, which will easily be able to encompass the entire fire giant.
alright. Next time we head into the mountains, it should be a pretty... Because it's so on the edge of the mountains, it should be easy just to dip in, dip out, and then head to the other side of the mountains. Dippin. Dot. Hold on. Did the
In
beacon
mein
pause?
Regenbogenstrudel.
Most normal German sentence.
I think that's Dutch.
Not real, what?
I think Regenbogenstrudel is Dutch, not German.
My bad. I'm racist. It's
No,
German.
There's the
You
Dutch
are.
are swamp Germans, so you're actually not racist.
Somehow, I've been trumped over.
Bogenstrudel. Maybe it is German. Regenbogenstrudel. Google Translate.
Well, good thing
It
for
is
you,
German.
Maximus.
Wait, no, it's Dutch.
Ooh.
No, it's Dutch. It's
Aw.
Dutch. It's Dutch.
This
No,
money
German.
is
Fuck you. It's rainbow sprinkles in
Why?
German. Whee!
Ooh. Guaranteed to you
This money
by
is.
the royal family.
Yes, I did get this. I did get this added to his contract, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Add it to your whatever.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Now, for other things we want to buy, this is now the Yogi POV. Yogi, how many rations would you like to buy, and are there any material components you would like to buy?
Ivory dust for Legends lore.
Yeah, we need the ivory dust, but I don't know. Let me check.
There's strips, not dust.
What the
Silly
hell?
Billy.
Well, I have the I have the strips.
You got me.
I
Oh,
need the
then
dust.
you just need incense.
Because yeah.
Okay.
But what does it say on the
250
thing?
gold
It says
worth of
I need
incense.
50 gold.
250.
250. Yeah. Knock knock Maximus.
A
Well,
venerable institution.
Wander down to the stables. Yep.
What else do you want to buy in
I
Zenius?
said yes.
Do you?
We can commission what? Let me do the math on my.
I'm just saying,
I'm gonna
probably
take
get
the
all
rubies.
the money you need together.
Yeah.
I'm taking the rubies off my sheet, and then I'm gonna add what?
Oh, you're taking the rubies off your sheet?
Wait, where are they
Yeah,
going?
because we can. Well, they figure it out. I don't know. I thought Primius had them because he wants
are
to
you-
cast spells on them.
You already got them
You already
purified.
did.
Oh. I don't
I
know.
just-
Well, I'm gonna
I
go
just
sell the
dumped them in
rubies and
rubies.
then buy dust with it.
Where do you go to sell the rubies?
Oh, you can't sell the rubies. That
You're
belongs to
not
the
selling
government.
rubies,
No.
brother.
They haven't
I-
seized it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will have asked to come along when he sells the rubies.
Sure, where are we selling it?
No. Nowhere? Please? What the fuck are you
The
doing?
jeweler.
Okay.
I'm. Before we head to the jeweler, I guess once you bring that up,
Zenius and you are outside the villa. He's getting like a wheelbarrow to put 140 pounds of rubies into to bring it down to the jeweler.
there is no jeweler
Uh,
within the mist wall that is going to buy these. Other than maybe-
Oh.
Maybe the Red Mountain Dawi would, but that might be about it.
How big are
Um,
these? You said they were like
70
eyeball
pounds
size.
each. Correct.
I have a giant.
So in terms of size, they're 6 inches by 4 inches, but rubies are incredibly dense. These are 16,000 carats each, and a carat weighs roughly a gram for a ruby. So the total weight is 140 pounds.
Wait, 16,000 carats?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be 16 kilos then?
Yeah,
Roughly?
but no. Oh, you're right. I think it's 70 for the both of them. True, it's 70 pounds for the both of them.
That's like...
Yeah. Both of them weigh 70 pounds then. Either way, it's 35 pounds for one of them.
Department of... Uck. Coin? Maybe?
Nah, never mind. I'm just gonna go get the rations.
Well, the reason I asked all this is because I wanted you to add up the price of all the stuff you needed, and then you could tell Maximus how much money you needed.
Well, I don't know what else I need besides the rations, because the rations are free.
Well, the incense.
Grab them. The incense is 250 gold.
And how much do the rations cost?
Oh,
you get them for free,
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, Zednius, as Maximus hefts these 2 chunks of ruby and, is starting to evaluate what exactly to do with them, you could ask him for some money.
Well, I'm afraid of letting Maximus have the rubies because they're probably worth like 1,000,000 pence or 1,000,000 gold or something insane, and then he's gonna pocket all of it, and then we gotta ask him for loans.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
The joke.
That's a cap.
Oh man.
You guys have seen me you've seen
The only
these.
person you paid for the teleport scroll was fucking Rixion because he pressed the issue before you put it on
He's the only
bid.
person who asked. He was the only one who asked.
Well, currently, you and Maximus are on the front lawn of Permius's villa. The rubies sit inside of a little wheelbarrow you got, and are you gonna get the money for the incense?
I might just ask Tullius, to be honest.
Fucking based. Then what are you doing with the
250
rubies in the
is
short
like
term?
nothing for him. What am I gonna do with the rubies?
Yeah, since they're in the little wheelbarrow.
They're in the wheelbarrow? Can I put them back in the bag?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Okay.
Are we not gonna go try and sell these?
I don't think we can sell them. They're too valuable. Nobody's gonna buy them for what they're worth, right? So
Well, the government might.
the government's just gonna take them from us. They're gonna be like, you found these on the field. Great, they belong to us. I don't see it in our contract that what we find on the field is ours.
Well, no, that's implicit. Other than eminent domain.
You've studied enough imperial law to know that nothing's implicit.
I read that. I read that in I read that in a book.
You do have an imperial law education. That much is true, or a little bit.
Permius has a whole
can't
law
just-
education.
So I suppose, how does that
Is Ruby?
say we
Wait,
just
hold
don't
on.
bother?
I'm holding.
Isn't Grania's spell Force Cage need ruby dust?
Yeah, we already got some.
Yeah, but should
And
we
it
just
would
get rid
be
of these rubies?
Actually criminal.
Couldn't
to
we
do
give
that.
you like an unlimited amount of
You
cast
can
of the spell
dustify
with
them
this?
for sure.
If we can't sell them,
That's
sure.
actually that's criminal.
Oh, that'd be
I
fucking.
am not
Can you know how
agreeing.
funny it would be if
I'm
someone
not
took like
agreeing
the
to do
Hope
that.
Diamond and reduced it into dust? That would be so fucking funny.
Go to Corvus. Hey, can you guys disintegrate on this? We just need unlimited dust.
Yogi saying, "Yeah, like that's a good solution." Oh, he's so fucking base, man. My goat.
So,
No, you
Alex, if we
yeah,
if we just sort of keep these, like, don't try and sell them, just like display it in Primius's house or something,
Mhm.
and then the government finds out,
yeah.
do we get in trouble for like not
Yeah.
declaring it, or
No.
are they just going to be like, oh, all right, cool, we'll take it
No, I mean,
once they do find out?
So this is an instance where if you were in like the northern kingdoms, yeah, you're 100% getting in trouble because that's a trust-based system. The Northern Kingdoms does not have very advanced laws. It's just kind of like, don't be a dick, and if you are, we're going to do capital punishment and kill you. The Empire is a lot more laws-based. There is no contract you have ever signed as judges that says we will tell the Master of Judges about all loot that we recover from the battlefield. That just isn't anything you've ever signed. Now, they could argue for maybe negligence in the line of duty. But to be honest, you guys were appointed by the Emperor himself, so the idea that you would personally get in trouble for retaining some loot is psychotic. If you were legionnaires, 100% you would, but you guys are not. You're judges. So the answer is they'd say, give it to us, you would give it to them, and you wouldn't get in any trouble. Because it's just, they could probably find a way to charge you, but it's silly. It's like, why? It's just, what's the point?
So, like, they could if they wanted, but they're almost certainly not going to.
One, it would be for a minor crime, like negligence, and two, they just, why would they?
Didn't we get charged with negligence once
Correct.
before?
You guys have been convicted of negligence before.
What happens if we get a
That
second
was for
conviction?
the Renesmee part.
It was for the Renesmee incident, yeah. The answer is you get a slap on the wrist, just like you did the first time. It's not a big deal. Again,
That was not. That was.
Wait, no, that
was
was a
a
huge
slap
deal.
on the wrist.
They took all of our shit for like
that was
weeks.
a slap on the wrist. To be clear, if like a senator, if like a quaestor does negligence, they are done. Like their career is over. Judges just get away with that, and now you're like, because again, you're judges of the empire. You get to circumnavigate most of the brutalities of the legal system.
Yeah. I don't know why you want to
should
stop doing
consult-
this. You could just break so many laws, Maximus.
It's kind of true.
I believe it or not, I'm not a huge fan of breaking laws.
That's also
Yeah,
true.
neither is Primius.
Admittedly, he was not the one that got in trouble for negligence. That was not Maximus's fault at all.
I got roped into that spontaneously.
And that is true. I can't say you're wrong here. I mean, yeah. If you guys want to try to sell it, you can. If not, you can move on.
What if we try to sell it outside of Mithdosica?
Okay, that actually could get you in a lot of trouble because rubies are spell components, so the Department of Magic may charge you with international magical item smuggling, which
international weapons,
which is
smuggling?
actually like for what you're doing in the Hago auction house. I mean, you know that's illegal, but it's like really illegal. Like if the Department of Magic finds that you're trying to sell items that you either created or recovered in Mithdosica abroad to avoid them being involved, that's like treason essentially. So that could actually get you in a lot of trouble, like a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but I don't want to get it stolen from me by the government.
Okay, look, I'm not saying it's morally wrong. I'm just telling you the consequences of if you try to sell priceless magical components outside of the
We need the
empire.
Republic back right now.
We should consult a barrister.
Or maybe Cato?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
does
but
Cato
Cato's
not
just
have
gonna
an
tell us-
obligation to report it?
Yeah.
No, there's no such thing as mandatory reporters.
Oh, you just were extrapolating on how much of a laws-based system
No, they are
Mithdosica is,
laws-based.
right?
They're
I feel like it's not a
100%
stretch.
laws-based, but it's just that... What's the way to describe this? Do you remember when you were in the Department of Faith and then your boss ordered you to incriminate his boss?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
distinctly.
that is illegal. To be clear, I mean, it's kind of obvious that that's
Oh, it
illegal.
is?
But yeah, it turns out that's actually illegal. The thing is...
I thought we got away with that because we won.
Yeah, I mean, also that, but the Empire is laws-based, but it's also very, like, factional, deeply, deeply factional. So, no, there's no such thing as, like, mandatory reporting or, like, it's one of those things where, yes, there is laws, and they are generally followed, but when you're dealing with shit as valuable as, like, this, it becomes a lot more based on, like, who you know and how stuff gets pursued. Like, again, if you put it in your like living room, that doesn't matter because it's not actually impacting the empire really, other than like a opportunity cost type of way. When you start doing crazy shit like selling it to a foreign nation or other stuff like that, that's when who you know starts to matter, and having someone like Cato, who is currently highly in favor with the empire, helps a lot because he could potentially prevent you from having the Niberius treatment and having, you know, you have to humiliate yourself before the empire and have all your kids put in prison and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Let's ask Cato.
Or just put it on your mantelpiece and then don't worry about it.
This is to. There's only two of them though, which means only two of us could have it at a time. suppose we could just switch off.
All right, you get it on Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, let's report it to Kato. Let's go for
Alrighty.
Band-Aid.
Then yes, I mean you currently are in physical possession of them, and Maximus is the only one there with you. So, do you want to report it to Kato?
I mean, unless I want to fucking do something crazy, yeah. I
Well, you said
should
you said you were going to go talk to Tullius about funding.
Yeah, but if Maximus is right here and he's like, "What are we gonna do with these rubies?" It's kind of hard to be like, "Nah, I don't know. We'll think about it later," and then leave.
I mean, you
with the
could just
rubies.
say exactly that.
You certainly could try.
You certainly could try. Or you can just go to Kato. I'm
I
not trying to.
teleport 500
Yeah,
feet away.
dimension
It's
door,
like, oh,
sprint full speed towards Tullius's house. Oh man. Okay, you guys go to the Master of
yeah,
Judges
let's go to
office
Kato.
then.
Deny all existence of them afterwards.
Who's Kato?
Rubies.
Oh no, Kato.
Yeah, the Master of Judges is not particularly busy at the moment, so you guys.
Let's put a tarp over these bitches. I don't
Well,
want to
they're
get
in-
stabbed in
they're
the
in the bag of
back.
holding.
They're in the bag right now.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I thought they were still
Yeah.
in the wheelbarrow.
You
All
guys
right,
wait
cool.
in the hall, and then a moment later,
Sorry, did you
head
say
on
you wanted to
inside.
stab him back?
Kato
Who did
is
that? To an
Kato
Imperial
is
Judge.
looking at his map of the Allian Mountains. You can see there is about 40 new locations marked on the map than there was before. And Kato will look at you as you enter and say, Judge Maximus, Judge Zenius.
Kato?
Hey,
Since I didn't receive a sending spell, I assume that you're all in good health and walked back under your own feet.
Yep.
Finally, for once.
Good. I assume if you have anything to find, you would report it. But since the rest of your judges aren't here, I assume this is a more trivial matter.
Kinda. We encountered a dead fire giant,
From
and
the Gosh Talk from Cavaranth?
that's. Well, Corvus said that's the only place we know where they're at. So, but it was in the mountains. Looks
Sure,
like it had
of
just
course,
sort
the
of been.
beast teleports in all sorts of things. It's not unprecedented. How big was it?
About 30 feet.
Dead, I'm assuming.
It froze to death.
Who's to... Oh,
Well, you know, if you're used to living
Yes.
in a volcano, I'm sure appearing in the mountains is a traumatic affair. But its eyes are made out of ruby, and I'll motion to Zednius.
I'll pull
He's
the,
asleep. It's
the
over.
rubies. I'll pull the rubies out of the. I'll pull one out of the bag and
nudge-
show him.
I nudge,
All right.
I nudge him awake.
yeah, you pull one of them out of the bag, and he looks at it and says, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's quite big."
yeah,
That's what she
real big.
Wow. Huh. I assume you brought it to me because you intend to donate it to the Department of Magic?
Well, we kind of just came to you to ask what to do with it. I read about this whole eminent domain thing, where they can kind of just take it from us.
Yes? Look, how do I phrase this? Obviously, as judges, it is expected that you will take some degree of things that you find in the course of your duties. There's a reason why you are not given traditional forms of compensation. Obviously, there are things that are going too far, but you say you found a giant's corpse and found this on it that would normally fall under the auspices of your office. But, well, I'm no jeweler. I couldn't even begin to put a price tag on that, but that's the biggest ruby I've seen in my life. So I suspect the Department of Magic will want it, especially if you say it's from a fire giant. Now, at present, judges are in a special position. There are explicit edicts by the Emperor saying that the other departments are to aid us in all endeavors. So, if you gave these to the Department of Magic, it would, I think, endear them to you further.
What's our relationship with them like at the moment?
+2.
+2? All right.
Me when I say
What
something.
is getting even more? What is getting them to like us more even for us?
Well, there's a couple things. So, getting them to hate you is obviously bad.
Yeah, bad.
It's obvious, but getting higher relations gives you a bigger buffer for doing things that piss them off. Additionally, it reduces the friction of things. Like, a good example of this would be when Corvus goes to the Department of Magic. We normally kind of skip over things, but when everyone else goes there, there's like this layer of bureaucracy they have to deal with. Same for the Department of Civility. It hasn't really come up because you guys haven't done much illegal stuff, but you kind of have like a implicit get out of jail free card because of how much the Department of Faith trusts you at the moment. And by the Department of Faith, I really just mean Cato. Like, that +3 is almost exclusively from Cato. Whereas the Department of Faith and Department of Coin, they basically do the bare minimum that they legally have to help you. So I can't give you like a mechanical thing, but in general, I will always err on the side. If you got to like a +5, for instance, they will actively try to assist you. Like, they'll reach out to you and be like, oh, we heard this thing, maybe we can help you with that, or things like that. Right now, they're just kind of neutral towards you.
That
would be massive.
I'll look to Zednius. That would kind of be big. The Department of Magic is like the one I hate dealing with the most.
That's very funny.
Kind of also agree. Yeah. Okay.
It's just we'd have to.
Should we keep one? I mean, we're donating them, right? So I don't know how much ruby dust Grania has, but they're probably the Department of Magic is going to use this for spell components.
Most likely, though, if you say they come from a fire giant, it could also be used for, I don't know that spell. I remember Judge Aurelius spoke to me at one point about how objects from foreign planes can be used to align tuning forks to those planes.
Plane shift.
Okay. I mean, in for a penny, out for a pound, right? We're gonna do one. And if we tell them it came from a fire giant, I guarantee they're gonna ask where the other one is.
Oh, it was a 1-9 fire Cyclops.
I think someone's gonna know that that is not the case.
Well, if you donate it to them, I recommend that you do it personally rather than through an intermediary.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not missing out on a chance to get credit for this.
Precisely. If you you also could reach out towards Judge Aurelius. He is the deputy autarch of the Department of Magic.
Would that be better for, relations building and such?
Probably not. He's a bit of a wild horse.
Oh, he's the one, Alex. He's the one that's hanging out in that village with Dingleberry, right?
Yeah, and technically he is
Dogface.
the second highest ranking member of the Department of Magic and spending his time blowing up monsters in the mountains.
Oh, yep, he's not here, and he's not the highest ranking one. So
Hey,
rip Bozo. I mean, yeah, it is extraordinarily based. Not great for his whole doing his job thing,
yeah,
though.
Also, if your goal is to build a relationship with the entire Department of Magic, the way to do that is not to pick out a lone wolf who is neglecting his job. Okay, so then we are personally donating the Fire Giant Eyes.
We should talk to the others, though. These aren't entirely ours to give away.
You think they'll have an issue with this?
Probably not, but still.
Me when you have to convince Premius to do his job, which he likes doing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I just want
just
me
to-
and Maximus to be the only people that get credit. That's what I want.
Oh man. Well, to save us some time, does anyone have any objections to donating the Fire Giant Eyes to the Department of Magic?
Only if they do it on their own without us being present.
Well, they're not, because Maximus just said he was going to consult you.
we were gonna. We're like talking to you guys right now.
Yeah. So it sounds like no one has any objections. So, yeah, Maximus and Zenius, the two of you make your way to the Department of Magic. You kind of force yourself up the chain of command because you don't want to give this to some random clerk. And eventually you get in the room with the Praetor of item acquisition. You guys have met, weirdly enough, I think you've met this woman like a dozen times. Like almost, I feel like, I can't remember exactly, but I feel like most of the time you buy magical items and you have complaints, you speak with her. And then, so I feel like you've been well acquainted. But yeah, you hand off the two ruby eyes, and I guess next session you'll see how much your reputation increased by.
Sure. As we hand them off, I'll ask if there are any flying boots in stock.
Unfortunately, as of 2 weeks ago, every single magical item that was on auction was purchased.
By who?
Please let me know if there ever are any.
I'll do my best. Should such correspondence be sent to your residence outside of Tarako, Lord Judge?
That, or how much does a sending spell cost?
A lot.
Okay, then never mind. Yeah, just send to my residence.
All right. And as for who bought them, it was a joint endeavor. The Department of War and a private benefactor.
Oh, all right. Excellent.
The benefactors are curious.
Well, yeah, that means there's a person who was able to go band for band with the Department of War.
Makes me happy.
Really? Interesting.
I
Okay,
only have
so
one person I could think that it would be, so...
You mean one of
Unless
the
it's,
Imperial
someone
governors, right? Because those guys are pretty rich.
Yeah, well, there's only one person I know that has had over, 10,000 gold.
Gasp. Well,
Me?
speaking of the rich person in question, you still want to go get incense money?
25,000 gold I need.
Oh, all right. I possessed that amount for a little bit.
Yeah, for like an hour. So, do you want to go get incense money from Tullius?
Yes.
Okay. You have the Ateriolaris ring. You don't know how else to contact him.
I have his residence, if he's there.
You could
But yeah,
go to his
I'll-
house, yeah.
That would be a little brash.
It would be.
I'll send him a sending. That's for our mission, I'll need to gather material components. Could I request 250 gold?
A reply comes. Go to the Department of Coin. Ask for an account listed under the name of Severus.
Oh,
That's all.
Okay. I will. Not well. Am I still around like all the other people?
You could have done the sending wherever.
I want to. Yeah, I want to. Well, I don't want to bring Maximus to the bank to find out Severus has a secret account that I'm going to be pulling from or something. So
Sure.
Yeah, no, man, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, you can just go to the bank alone. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You head to the Department of Coin in Mythos. You give the
Got
name
me
Severus
thinking, what the fuck was
Octavius.
this account about?
You give the name Severus Octavius Alice Ignia. The thing is, the Imperial bureaucracy is actually relatively efficient. Severus has been dead for 4 months. Any accounts he has would have been processed under, what is it called? Inheritance. So it would basically be given to next of kin, and since none existed, it would be seized by the state. But you give Severus's name, and you are informed that there is indeed 4 bank accounts here in. Now, these are bank accounts, not like P.O. boxes. They're accounts listed under his name with various sums of money. The smallest has 5,000 gold. The largest has 105.
That's a lot.
The total sum of money stored under Severus Octavius Aulus Ignia's name is around 400,000 gold.
Oh my god.
Why wasn't I prepared that when I was playing him?
Because you didn't have it.
Because
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been in your account until
Correct.
Yeah,
Until you were
full
dead.
control.
Correct.
Jesus.
Yeah, Severus, when he
Holy.
died, had 102 gold in his bank account. He was not.
104.
It says 102 on your character sheet.
Was this? Oh, I don't remember.
Bozo.
It was like 100 and a tiny bit. And then
Um,
we also
Yeah,
had that
I'll
weird
just take
command stuff.
what I'll take what I told Tullius, just the 250.
that's fine. Yeah, they give it to you without
Takes 2 billion.
yeah, without any other. Now, the thing is, there is normally some method of identity verification at the Department of Coin. Like, it's not super crazy, but they will ask for some stuff. They don't do any of that. They just, you ask for 250 gold and they give it to you. And I think this is one of those things where this knowledge that you receive is a mixture of, like, one, you've been in Mythosia your entire life, so you know how these things are supposed to work. 2, you've worked as a Frumentari. This is a colossal sum of money. It is about $400 million stored under the name of a dead man, and the clerk is giving money with no questions asked. To have this happen requires, 1, someone that is very high ranking in the Department of Coin to allow this count to continue to persist. 2, they added a flag on the account that they should give out the money without asking for verification. And 3, Tullius feels the need to stash $400 million under the name of a dead Frumentari agent, which means it's probably being used for something he doesn't want to be connected to. $400 million is enough to raise a legion. He could, like, literally create a legion with this amount of money. It's pretty spooky stuff. You know, that whole coup of his is starting to feel a bit more real when you see stuff like this.
Yeah. Good thing I'm alone and not going to tell anyone that
Yeah.
there's a insecure bank account.
Yeah, true. Also, this is definitely mostly a thing that I think even for Zednius, who's very on board, it's like, oh damn, it's actually happening. Like, he has $400 million in an unmarked bank account. Anyways, yeah, you can go buy some incense, Pog.
Let's go. Yes, legend lore.
Yeah, so do we want to take a long rest in Mythos?
I think so.
I think so as well, because Corvus is missing his highest level spell slot.
Yeah, it's not important.
Well, it's called teleport.
I'm also missing all my spell slots.
That's actually not important.
Oh, all right. Those ones are
Sending.
important.
right.
Fireball.
Well,
Sending,
then
fireball.
everyone just take a long rest, because we're going to spend the next week in
Fireball
Mythos. So real quick, any skills training that actually, I need to say this before I forget. Add 2 to your spell research, Corvus, from your apprentice.
Just
I'm
stealth
also spending
for
the week
me.
doing my own research.
Then you can add a 3rd one.
He's more efficient than I am?
No, he spent while you were in the mountains.
I guess that was also.
He spent the last 3 weeks working on it. Skills? Anyone?
Stealth.
Okay, you can add 2.
I just realized.
Sorry,
I
Mia?
think no matter what now, I'll have disadvantage because of my eyes. This
On stealth? Nah,
really?
not during the day. I mean, at nighttime maybe.
But in like a dark
That's kind of like when
cave.
it's the most important.
Depends how you use the stealth skill. Anyways,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Maximus, are you training anything?
So thought of that when you died.
Grenia.
Sorry. Saying you should have thought of that when you died, when you just saw last session him like burning alive in a carriage when he was like 7 is crazy.
Yes.
He was a
I did
literal
forget about
child burning alive.
Did forget about that. However, it's still funny.
Maximus, what skill are you training?
Grenia, sign language, please. Dota?
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Yes.
Oh, you're good.
And
Sick.
then it will also learn lost stuff.
Plus
What
2,
day
plus
is that?
2. It is like during the start of the rest, end of the rest.
End of the rest.
The 19th of February.
Nice.
Did your birthday
Right.
happen?
Did I get my stipend for this month?
You got your stipend while you're in the mountains.
Ooh.
Right to Maximus.
Straight to Maximus.
All right, plus rep.
Plus
At
how
1,000 gold.
It's 1,000 gold.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Add a big old one
dude,
to that
oh my
number.
god! I just realized the imperial family of Mithdosica is structured the exact same as the Saudi royal family. Like the exact same. That's actually crazy. Not only is it the exact same, they literally have the exact same classification of like if you're the direct son of the current crown prince, etc., etc. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, so
He just realized he needs to look more to Saudi Arabia lore.
well, no, because the way their royal family works is they had Abdul ibn Saud and Abdul Aziz ibn Saud, and only his sons have been king so far. Because it goes, you do the eldest male, not son, but like the eldest male in the entire family always inherits. So it was brother after brother after brother after brother. But if you're the direct son of the current king, you're not next in line for the throne, but you do get a higher monthly stipend, which is exactly how Mithdosica works. And just like in Saudi Arabia, you can just appoint your successor, and which is literally what's happening right now, which is how Mithdosica does it. It's like the exact same. And I just never thought of that before. Anyways, so Hector's doing
accidentally
research.
recreated the
Prometheus
Saudi
is-
family.
You know, they're cooking, I get it. Zendius, what skill are you training?
Saudi Vanillon.
He'll wake up. Regan Bogenstruzel. Wir suchen dich. Wir haben ein serious Problem.
That's all
Yogi! I know it's German, but it's the same shit.
It's not
Okay,
as
Yogi's
well.
dead.
Yogi!
No, sorry. I was. I
There we go.
pinged the chat. I was in the bathroom.
That's
training
fine.
session.
That's fine. That's my bad. Oh, and you even said the question I was gonna ask you. That's just my bad. Yeah, you can add +2 to sign language. Okay. That's all the skills we're training. No major
will
world
Granny
events.
teach you this week?
Gasp.
She didn't teach me last time, so I'm just gonna go back to the same tutor right now.
Okay, +2.
There you go.
Okay, no major world events happen. You all get a long rest. I think we'll talk about legend lore after I give this update. Cadio, who the fuck is that? Cato, since you guys are in the city, Cato will tell you
Adia.
Adia stands.
new locations have been discovered for your map. And by that I mean the rangers basically told Cato all the shit they know. So basically, almost everything that's in the mountains is now on your map. So you'll see little markers, and I'll tell you what they are if you guys pass by them. Technically, not literally everything, but most things. If it's been there for more than a couple months, it'll be on your map. So I updated all that. Okay, what else? Oh, a team of Inquisitors died. They were,
Dog.
what the hell?
Hog?
The team of
Who said that?
Inquisitors made their way into the Atlian Mountains, going from the south to go explore the southern glacier. Then they like disappeared basically for 2 weeks, and then so around the time you guys started coming back from the mountains is the same time they disappeared. And finally, the the Master of Judges decided to scrying them since there had been zero communication. He found nothing, basically. Like he couldn't make a connection, and so he went to the Department of Faith and had them view the site, and they were killed by the Beast of Atlia. This is the second ever instance of the Beast of Atlia being violent, and he eradicated the whole lot of them.
Where were they?
How many
They
of
were there were
That's
6
where we were
Inquisitors
gonna
in the
go.
group. There were 6 Inquisitors of the group. They were on the southern edge of the mountains. Like, they hadn't even reached the glacier yet. It's currently unclear why they were targeted, because other groups have been in that vicinity before. But for whatever reason, the Beast of Atlia descended. No, you guys have never been that far south. Like, they entered the mountains through the southern end, like the actual, like, 40 miles south of where you were. They were going to enter the south and then go north from there. But yeah, 6 dead Inquisitors.
Did we know any of them in like passing?
No, the only two Inquisitors you know are Father Hyperion and Mother Dulcian.
All right, cool.
Okay, so we get to the end of the long
Father
rest.
Rixion?
Is
Is
like a
Father
Father
Rixion is a
Rixion
judge.
not a...
No, he's a judge.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So you guys reach the end of the long rest, and do we still want to cast Legend Lore? If so, what, where, who, when, why? Where am I? What's happening?
Oh no, the
Alex has
Alzheimer's got to
dementia.
him. It's got to him finally.
What's my
I'm on my way.
This
Alex,
is
the
how he's
incident
been
was 20
cooking
years
so
ago,
much
wake
with
up.
Valeros.
Okay, so are we Legend Lore?
I think so.
Yeah, I need some instructions though.
I think
I'll post it in chat again.
Do we want to cast it on the Beast of Atlia, or do we want to cast it on
What else would we cast it on?
the circle? The magic circles. It could.
I mean,
It
which
could
one do
also reveal the location of the master circle if there is one.
That's a good point. But A, what do we think we have more information on? The circles, or the beast?
I think we have more information on the circles. I gotta be honest.
We might.
What are you trying
only
to
thing-
discover?
Location of how many more circles there are, the maker of them,
The full purpose.
the full
Okay.
purpose of them, if
Yeah,
there's if they still work, because it seems like they kind of do, kind of don't.
Sounds like we want to focus
And
on
then-
the circles then.
Well, then what info would we want to glean about the beast if we were to do that? It'd be like how to either defeat it or send it back from whence it came.
I only
What are its
have
abilities?
enough dust for one casting. If we want to do it more than once, you guys need to help out.
You need to ask.
No, I mean I'm not asking. If you want it to be done, then you will provide the materials.
Oh,
Right?
sure.
Like,
Will
I got
Please,
the first cast. I got the first cast. But if
Bro,
you're
when-
requesting me to do more, then
This is why we call him
Bro.
Giga Zednius.
Bro went and grabbed 250 grand out of the 400 million
but
jackpot.
No one else knows
Like,
about
alright,
that,
my
so
turn. Yeah, that's a good point.
check my Wibble.
I mean, we could just do both. Yeah, actually, I don't know why we're sitting here debating that.
Well, who's gonna pay for it?
Me,
Well.
Hermias, all of us. The details, man.
Then
Minor
pay the
details.
money. Remove 250 gold from your sheet.
I don't fucking know what's required for this shit.
Oh my god.
it's 250 gold worth of this stuff, and I'll show you the incense.
Incense?
You can get it at XYZ store that I bought it at.
Oh yes, the
Oh, that's my
pound and the
favorite store.
cherry. It's a good store.
One of you, more magically inclined ones want to come with me so I don't buy normal incense?
Well,
It is
Sure,
normal
I'll go.
you can
incense.
go around the middle, man. Zednius can just come with you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If he's
Yeah.
okay with that, obviously.
You guys
Okay,
go
yeah,
back
it's
to
fine,
the
it's
pound and
fine.
the cherry. It's a fragrance shop, and you buy incense because it's not magical incense; it's just incense. It's a
Oh,
very smelly shop.
see.
It smells quite nice.
Good to know.
And you guys return.
Hmm.
You have 500 gold.
Can
worth
I
of-
buy?
Yeah?
Does that shop have a horse candle?
a what?
A horse candle. You know, a candle that smells like horse.
What in the absolute
Yeah,
fuck is
and
wrong
made
with
it
you?
for
No, though.
Shit.
They do take commissions.
Hmm. They do they?
They do.
Okay, yeah, I'll walk up to the cashier
Well, yeah. So the
with the
shop,
incense.
yeah, the shop doesn't have like a bar or like a counter or anything. The way it works is you enter into this shop and instantly you are hit by aromas, like assaulted, like punched in the nose with all these different smells. Because near the entrance they have a number of burning candles and open like perfume vials and stuff. And it's sort of like a art gallery in the way that things are arranged. Like there's a whole shelf of like this is these scents and earthy scents and sexy scents and all these things. And the purveyor of this shop is a local Mithdosian man. He's dressed actually very conservatively compared to how flamboyant the smells of his shop are. He wears a toga, which is the very traditional clothing of senators, and he does not, talk to you. He assumes a more high class clientele because the cheapest thing here is a fortune, and he kind of lets you guys walk to the incense section and buy it. And as Zennius is handing over your money to him, you can bring up the horse candle.
Do you all do commissions for candle scents?
We certainly do, though the smallest batch that we'll produce is 6 at a time.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Horse scent.
He doesn't seem phased at all. A specific horse, or horses as a category?
You can do a specific horse?
Certainly.
Oh, yeah,
No
a
two
specific
people
horse
smell the
then,
same.
yes.
There's no reason why 2 animals would smell the same.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Yes, a specific horse.
I assume it is
Ooh,
your
you
steed.
should make it smell like Mickey.
Yes, correct.
Then, ideally, if possible, one of my smell confectioners would be able to go and experience the beast in its natural environment, take some hairs, follicles from the hair, perhaps dung. It's a very common fragrance location in most animals. And then we would perhaps have to do trial and error for a couple of weeks, maybe months, to really nail the scent.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Do you want it to be a long-lasting candle?
Yes, preferably.
Such that a service will cost likely 3 to 12 weeks of labor. In addition, if you want it to be long-lasting, we'll need to find more difficult reagents. Shorter candles can be more raw materials. Longer-lasting require tallow, which changes the scent, so we need to suppress that. So overall, around 250 gold should suffice for a batch of 6.
All right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You hand over $250,000 for 6 candles.
Yep.
And, it's one of those things where that sounds insane. 250 gold for 6 candles. And, see, if a rich person said that they spent $250,000 on 6 candles, you'd be like, this person is insane. But you are also basically paying the full-time salaries of an entire workshop of artisan craftsmen trying to make a candle that smells like your horse. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's actually kind of cheap.
I look at it from the perspective of I'm used to the scent of Mickey, and no money is better than Mickey.
Yeah, and you're a judge who has way more money than you ever should. All right, so you hand over a total of 500 gold to this person for the incense and the Mickey candle, and I will actually I'll just put it on the calendar. Roll me a D12.
Just for how many weeks it's gonna take? All right. Fuck.
Technically, there is no lower bound, so you could roll a 1 and be the luckiest man ever.
I am the unluckiest man ever.
You are the
Almost.
least. So
Unluckiest
it's the
man.
3rd week of February, so it'd be 1 and then 3 months. So it'd just be. So it'd be end of February plus 2 months would be March, April, May. And then
So we have to wait on
the.
the Legends lore?
No, what?
No,
That's
I
completely
bought
unrelated.
this is for the candle.
Oh, this is a
Not
second.
for the-
Dead ass. I think that
Psychotic
candle's gonna
horse
finish
candles.
after the campaign's over.
That's probably true.
3 months is. I mean, maybe not. You guys take a lot of time to
3
travel.
months? Oh no.
Anyways, so
Never gonna get
Before
this go.
before we leave, I'll ask him, how long does the collection from the horse take? Like, how long is that process?
I'll send someone to your villa later today.
Ah, excellent. All right.
Yeah. So you and Zendius return to the villa, and now we can go back to talking about Legend Lore.
Hey, you brought it up, all right?
No,
I brought
did
it up.
bring it
That's
up.
right.
I did bring it up.
Well,
So, Legend Lore.
worthwhile side tangent.
Yeah, let's discuss what exactly I need to like. What is my description of the East of Atlia? What is my description of the wards?
Well, first we can denote when they were first discovered, and I believe we could get an more accurate date from those rangers. So we probably want to talk to them first and see what the get a better description on, when they were first discovered. We know they were first used for hunting. Hunting the Cyclopses.
Nope.
Gulp.
Hmm.
So, do we want to go talk to them?
I mean, that would make sense, yeah.
All right, I go
Well,
talk. To
it's been a month since you brought them back to Mythos. They are not here anymore.
Oh,
They gave a full report to the Master of Judges, though, which has
well,
been
we can ask the Master of Judges.
copied and distributed.
Okay, let's read that then.
Yeah, it's long. It's about 550 pages. It's transcribed from an interview Cato held with them. He discusses everything from like their entire life story to a detailed day-by-day account of their isolation in the mountains, to a member of Queso's family who betrayed the Empire 5 years after he went into the mountains that he knew nothing about. Basically, every single aspect of their life, from like personal standards of attraction to their faith to everything, is kind of in these pages. Cato is like kind of terrifying. You guys have never been interviewed by him before, not in this way. Like, when he's around you, he's like a disappointed dad most of the time, because you've never really pissed him off that much. In this interview, though, he's asking like hyper critical personal questions, and they're like, well, I don't know, and he's like, no, but like, you do know, and you're going to tell me. And it's difficult to find specific things because it's not like sectioned off, but flipping, I mean, I think after you're all sitting around the center of the villa, around the fountain. Grania is trying to not read because it's boring as fuck, but the rest of you are flipping through the pages of this transcript, and you will find, finally, the section where Cato asks them everything they know about the glyph wards. He's asking really specific questions, like, how many glyph wards did you know about? When did you learn about them? When did you personally learn about them? When did the Order learn about them? How do you know the Order learned about them? Yeah, he's asking lots of questions, very specific questions, and basically, the answer is these guys don't know. And the Order of the Atlian Rangers did not really keep notes. It was a information was kept through oral tradition.
Where's your bureaucracy?
Not there. It was basically a frat club of 20 dudes in the mountains that got smaller every year because less people were joining it. And 80 years ago, the emperors declared that their task was complete. The Aurelian Var Sol declared that the last creature had been exterminated and the mountains were safe, which was interesting to read because you guys were under the impression that the Rangers announced that. Like, they said, hey guys, we finished killing all the monsters. That's not what happened. The Emperor just said it was true, even though it 100% was not.
That's blasphemy.
That's not blasphemy. That's a statement of historical fact. Thank you very much.
Mods get him.
But yeah, what they mostly mention is they knew about the Valley Ward, the Gorge Ward, and the Plateau Ward. The Valley and Gorge Ward they used to hunt the Cyclopses into extinction. When the guys had talked to you about it, you got the impression this was a common thing. It turns out they only used that tactic once. The Cyclopses were very smart, and they did not fall for it a second time, but they managed to kill 15 of them, which almost entirely broke the demographics of the tribe. Then the Plateau Ward they learned about because basically they were just wandering. They saw this rock formation. They're like, that's a crazy fucking rock formation. And one of them sent a letter to his brother and is like, hey, there's this crazy fucking rock formation. And he said, hey, I will check it out in a bit. And then he never did. And so that was the extent of their knowledge of the glyph wards. So about 100 years ago, they kind of stumbled across them and they're like, we're trying to hunt down all these Cyclops and they keep gathering at these spots. And so they set up a huge trap with every single Atlian Ranger. And when the Cyclopses came down to maintain them, they killed almost all of them.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Barely, but yes.
So, what I'm going to ask for the Legend Lore thing is, I don't really care who it is, one of the 5 of you, just needs to talk about all the facts you're going to input into the spell. Not like a group consensus thing, just speak. Just speak for as long as you feel you need to, whether you're just going to say the Atlian glyph wards, whether you're going to give all the history that you know. Just one of you tell me everything you're inputting into it. And then cast the spell.
All right.
Okay, who feels like the most qualified for this? Who remembers the most or has the best notes?
First of all, let's compile what we know into the Roll20. So the best information we have so far is what the subcircles do, which is that, along with the proper noun that's in there. We also know that it was used, one of the northernmost wards, the one found in the gorge, was used to hunt Cyclopses once, which they killed 15, so I'll put that in.
Wait, sorry, the Legend Lore, this cast was for what cast in Legend Lore? What are we casting it on?
The wards.
Oh, the wards themselves, right.
Used once by Atlian. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Rangers to kill.
I will say Atlia is written
15.
on the screen right now.
I'm too dumb to find it. Oh, there it is.
Little bro forgot the name of the arc.
Rangers. Used once by Alien Rangers to kill 15 Cyclopses. We also know that... who is the dragon we talked to?
Somebody the copper.
Was told by Lemedon?
No, Lemedon is the one that killed him. His Kovash. Right?
Kovash.
The bronze or was it copper? Bronze, right?
Bronze. That if man still lives to... what was the exact phrase? Was it ignite the beacons? Or
No, you said this last time, and you said it was what we had this exact conversation because you said that's what they said, and I said they did not say. Yeah, I was like, that's not what they said, and then I found their receipt.
They said just literally said reignite the glyphs.
I think that is the exact quote. Yeah.
reignite the glyph.
I just remember Blake being like, no, that's 100% what he said. I'm like, brother, there's no shot he said that. What the fuck are the beacons?
I don't know if that's how you spell it.
Calls for motherfucking aid.
What else have we learned about them? they relate to the Dragon Lich brought back by the ritual of midnight. And is connected to it somehow. How do I phrase that so it sounds like I know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
I feel like legend lore can figure out if you know what you're talking about.
No, shut the fuck up, Ethan.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Are you there?
Let's see, related to the Dragon Lich brought by the Ritual of Midnight, Lemidon the who? Is it the
Who?
he's
Omega
the copper? The copper? I thought Lemidon was the bronze.
Was Lemon not the black? Am I
No,
smoking hypercrack here?
Mod,
Hakon?
bring back up the Draconomicon.
I'm not gonna do that.
Fuck.
Well, how about I stall for an hour and then rewatch the VOD? How about that? What if I do that?
You can do that. I mean, I can't stop you, but I would just say maybe just don't include details if you're not sure about that.
Yeah, but the details are what matters.
I think that's the better choice.
Maybe you should pay attention to the details when they matter.
Actually, true. That's the greatest tragedy of not having Peach, because her notes were so fucking good. She knew shit that I didn't even know. It was terrifying.
That is the.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Dude,
I
I
hope
remember when
Peach-
she brought up the fucking hill giant warlord from a campaign before Mountain Game. Like, none of you had ever, like, literally, none of you had ever played in Valaros, how fucking old that boss was, and she asked me about that proper noun. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How do you know that character's name? What do you mean? And it was in some ancient fucking crusty handout that I didn't even know was, like, readable by the players. I was like, what the fuck? It was terrifying. I was like, oh my god, she's in the bowels of Valaros.
Peach is gonna be watching this VOD, and then she's finally gonna type after silently watching for like, and she'd be like, "It's the bronze, it's the bronze, it's the bronze."
So true.
Let's shout it right now. In fact, why don't I open Twitch right now and
said
see?
Anything. You're cooked.
You're useless, Chowder. What are you even doing here,
Be
bro?
nice to him.
no.
Dude, he's probably watching this on his second monitor while working at a job or something. Leave him alone.
Isn't it something that I remember? It was called the
Just
Ritual
turn
of
in your
Midnight?
imperfect information.
No.
Oh my god.
The copper.
You were just guessing. Oh, he did say fuck. No. Lemon Chowder pulled through for you. That's great.
Yeah, he did. Thank you, Chowder. You're the GOAT.
The honorary.
I take back everything I said.
He's the honorary 6th judge on this squad.
I take back everything I said is very funny. Okay.
Really, brought back the limit on the copper. Was first spotted by judges of the Mithdosian Empire.
That we have no idea if that's true or not.
That's true. Well, the first noted, like...
Yeah, but you just said the first.
Yeah,
The first... Okay, the first recorded...
I mean, we don't know if that's true either.
Alright,
Just
bro.
being a party pooper.
It's true.
I don't know. You were like, if we need to be this specific with it, how do we know some elf 2,000 years ago didn't see this dude? We have no idea.
My
how old he
last
is,
name is
where he's
Perusian
been.
Verusian, bro. I don't want to hear it.
He cooked you.
That's crazy. You pulled rank in the one situation where it can't help you. Oh man. That's crazy. Why don't you just
Okay.
rephrase the sentence to be demonstrably true, which is the first recorded instance within the Mithdosian Empire of encountering with this, you know? Just like frame the sentence so
That would
it's
be
true.
too smart.
Record
okay.
instance within the Mithdosian. I'm terrible at spelling.
It literally doesn't matter. It's a spoken spell.
Empire. Of the encounter with Lemedon the Copper.
Are you going to use his true name? Or do you think that's a different creature's true name?
Why don't you shut the fuck up, Alex? How about that shit?
Oh my god, you're getting so testy.
Did you ever think about this thing that shouldn't be thought about? Huh? Did you ever think about this thing that's completely
things
irrelevant?
to think about.
No.
I'm sorry, he's got you cooked there.
It's true. I'm the DM now.
He does have you cooked.
No,
Look at
no.
me.
The other way around. You're the cooked one.
No, you know what? That's a good point, Blink. It's all yours. All of PAX. Now wrap up the 94 session long campaign. I believe in you.
And everyone clapped. The end.
Good
Holy
point.
shit, he did it.
He fucking did it. He did it.
The first recorded instance within the Mithdosian Empire of the encounter with Lemedon the Copper occurred when a Cyclops Clops was found at a ward in the gorge. The Gorge Ward. Gorge Ward. My mind is not here, bro.
Once you finish this, I am gonna cut you off because it's just taking too long.
Yeah.
But I'll let you include this last little detail. Because you've been cooking on it for like 15 minutes.
No, let him
Heard
put
it.
him.
And was
You're literally paying for this, Dota.
teleported to
Good point.
said
Good use of your time. You know, if you like
ward,
that.
connecting them in some way. It's like writing an essay I don't give a shit about.
Why do you not give a shit about it? You don't even need to be
Nah,
writing it.
No, all right, that's everything.
It's
That's
funny
everything. I don't
how your spelling of like Mithdosian and Lemedon are better than your spelling of the word connecting.
Okay.
The fake words are more like spelled.
I'm sorry. What is that, Blake?
That's German, obviously. Connecting.
That's
Okay.
Indonesian, brother.
So that's true. That's a good one. So this is the information. Yogi, as the is he peeing? Is there a message that I didn't read? No, okay. Yogi. He's not here.
Yeah.
It's Sojo. Oh my god.
No.
All right, so this is what you're using as information for legend lore. Since you are the one casting it, is there anything you think you want to add, or are you good with the list that Blake put in the Roll20 chat?
I'm just gonna ride with Blake.
Well, you burn incense, and the courtyard of the villa begins to fill with a thick, thick smoke. I don't know if you've cast Legend Lore before, so I'll tell you what to expect. Oh, you have? Okay. Then you're basically going to get words in your head, so no one else is going to hear it. You're going to have to translate it, like, you know, give it onto the other folks. But the smoke begins to swirl about you, and there's a lot of really specific information, and I want to do you justice, so we are going to take a quick 5-minute break while I compose the full reply. So feel free to go pee, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So let's change the music for this, actually. I think what would fit best? Maybe it's like a this angle. If this is what I think it is, we'll see. Yeah, that works. Okay, Zednius, you cast Legend Lore. The mist swirls around you, the smoke thickening, and then words, a choir of discordant voices, enter into your mind. This is pretty long, so I am going to put the text in chat because I know you're going to ask me anyways, but I am also going to read it. Like twin twisting stars, brothers in arms found themselves split on matters of magic. They walked across an elf-bereft earth, worshipped as gods for their power and their wisdom. For Lemedon the Copper, faux godhood was insufficient. Such was his ambition and arrogance to achieve that which only true divines possessed. For Kovash the Bronze, the wisdom of kings and ages was enough. The ritual of midnight, the ritual of bone, the ritual of the bog dweller, transformed Lemedon into a thing of death. Death cannot suffer life, and so brother turned against brother, and the men of the world fought. Cyclops, dogmen, hyena men, bull men, half men, squat men, and men, all battled for good and evil. Ages of heroes and grand cycles passed. For Kovash fought Batavians, Pontari, and Sedanese. For Lemedon fought the Mithrari. Hero after hero failed to slay Lemedon, and so too did the Copper Tyrant fail to defeat the Bronze King. Thus the sage cheated and devised a trick to delay their game. 5 wards with a 6 to rule them. Slap-dashed and cobbled together from elven ilk, it was a patch intended to send Lemedon to the Hall of Oblivion never to return. A hero climbed a peak, a proud, one-eyed club wielder. At his side marched the sage. In the valleys of the great peaks, armies fought. Mithrari fought for their mighty tyrant, as all felt the world of a dozen ages culminating in this moment. The club wielder struck the copper. It did not harm. Then the sage began to chant. The wards had been crafted by trusted mages who knew not what they made, but followed the instructions of their godly sage. The club wielder was wounded, Lemedon curling his claw in victory. Then the ritual succeeded. Lemedon was pulled toward oblivion. In a desperate act, his magical fingers stretched forth and gripped on to the sage. Their game came to an end as both sage and tyrant were pulled towards oblivion. The Mithrari broke, their god slain. The victorious coalition shattered, their cause ended. The club wielder taught his tribe of the wards, of their power, and of their importance. They did not know the magics, but they knew their importance. And so the work continued and continued and continued until the circle bearers were struck down. A single crack was all that was needed for the tyrant to return. Well, what does it mean, though?
Well, right now, it's all in Zednius' head. Mayhaps it stays that way.
I think so. I think Zednius is
even
really
sure
just
I
kind of
remember
vibing
it.
and feeling himself.
What do you guys wait? So what do we want to know from it?
Everything?
Jova, guys.
Yeah.
They want you to share the contents of the legend lore because it goes only into your mind.
Yeah, I'll just spill the beans.
Okay, he recites it word for word as it enters his brain, his cranium.
Yogi,
if
read
you
it out
will.
right now.
No, that's really long.
Like twin twisting star.
Oh,
I would hate.
What an interesting voice he has.
I would hate to cast Legends Lore because I feel like I would get all of that and then instantly be like, he
Well, the
cast
solution is
Day of
that you
Midnight.
say it while it's being spoken into your mind, and then
Yeah,
it's
I
easy.
just channel it through my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Like a
Mm.
Oracle of Delphi or some shit. Anyways, there you go. That's what you get for your legend lore.
I don't know what some of these men are. Dog men, half men, squat men.
Squat men are dwarves.
One of these words, I think your characters would know. Literally only one.
Mithrari?
The rest of these are, the Mithrari. That is the name of... So, Mythos is not a tribe. It's a city-state that was established a long time ago. But the Mithrari are the people who would later go on to found Mythos and conquer the rest of the peoples of the Regenan Peninsula and form the Regenan Republic and later the Mythosian Empire. So they are kind of your ancestors in a way.
Mithrari fought for Lemedon?
No,
I will let the
against
text speak for itself. I was just saying that one particular proper noun you would recognize.
Alright.
Lemedon and the Mithrari are enemies.
The Mithrari were like... Wait, they were enemy? I thought they were like his...
Or Mitharii, I guess, is a
or
better
something.
pronunciation of that.
No, the myth got the Rari.
Well, the two sections that mention them say... where's that?
Mithrari fought the mighty tyrant.
Lemedon fought the Mithari in the first paragraph.
Yes, for Lemedon fought the Mitharii, and then in the second one it says, Mitharii fought for their mighty tyrant as all felt the world of a dozen ages culminating in this moment.
So they're saying both are tyrants.
Maybe.
Mm.
That's an interpretation for sure.
Or they're saying the Mithrari fought for both.
Oh, for Lemedon fought the Mithrari. I'm stupid. I misread it. It says the Mithari fought for Lemedon, not for as in because Lemedon fought the Mithari. I misread that. So yeah, the Mithari
Oh,
are
the Batavians.
Lemedon's
You would
side.
also, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
trying to peel out. Yeah, okay, you know that one.
Pontari means probably tribe from the Ponta.
He knows the
like-
river. Oh my god, I've
River?
actually never been more proud of you, Echo. I've never been more proud of you in my life.
It's called Transponta Solaria. It's hard
I
to
know,
not
but you remember that.
What?
I'm so
And the
proud of you.
Sedanese,
You-
it's probably in some other like area that I can't think of.
Oh
Who
my
are-
god. I
where
love
does it
you.
say
These
that?
are the oldest mages on the planet. There's no way that there's like an immortal wizard we would know about that could have been
There
this
is an
old.
immortal wizard that you know about, yeah.
It's the last
Is it the
elf.
God Emperor?
No, it's not either of these things. It's
Emperor's not a
Dwarf Lich
wizard.
that lives in a mountain in the Ladies' Tears. But he's only been alive for like 100 years, but he is technically immortal because he's a
Oh,
lich.
that's nowhere near enough time. Okay.
Yeah, no. Trying to think. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Lost Elf is not common knowledge. That's like meta knowledge that Blake has because he's been there. But yeah, I think honestly the current emperor is probably the oldest, most powerful person you would know, and he's only 100 years old. Oh no, that's not
What
that's
about-
not true. The
No,
High
I
Communer
feel like
of-
some archmaguses are older. I feel like.
some of them are by like a decade or two, but actually the real answer is the High Communer of Westbar is 350 years old. So that's probably the oldest person. But
Isn't that Lawin?
no, he's not the High Communer. He is a communer. He is very high ranking. I don't think he's the High Communer yet. I'd
get
have to
high
go
on
double check
time,
my notes,
for
but I know the
sure.
High Communer before him is a guy that fought Riemann in Riemann game, and that guy was like 350. That guy was fucking ancient. Or
of
Radadron
games,
Brand,
huh?
he's like 412. He's pretty fucking old. Either way, though, all of those people, they're old, but this refers to a period called the Age of Heroes, which, you know, is a very broad description. But informally, the Age of Heroes is used to describe, like, basically, like, a little bit after the Shattering and before it. In that general
I think
vicinity.
the end of this kind of confirms the theory last week that the earthquake brought this upon us because it's like a single crack in the wards is all that's needed. So I think that's confirmation that when that earthquake happened is when this all started, like when he started being able to return. I don't know what that does for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what it does for you is, if it is the earthquake, that means one of the glyphs is cracked, and you just have to fix it. Presumably.
Yeah, but how long? How many months has it been? He's already back. He could have destroyed it completely, nearly.
Yeah, the current assumption is that he came back with the scream, and that happened a year ago.
Maybe that's why he's going south constantly. Either he's trying to find it, or he has to actively keep it destroyed. Like, he can't just do it once and call it good. It's like an active
It
process.
has a self-repairing.
Potentially, yeah.
We're not no, we were back in Mythos. I was gonna say we could scratch the ward and see if it repairs itself, but we're not near it anymore.
Did you ever have a
I mean, when we first went to the one in the gorge, what is it? Maximus started kicking the dust around.
He did do that.
Did I?
Yep, you did 100% start kicking the chalk, which was really funny, because Blake thought that was going to summon a dragon, and he started freaking the fuck out, and then nothing happened. He's like, oh, I guess it's fine.
I mean...
Which was a fair assumption, because the last time someone had kicked the fucking chalk, a dragon had appeared, so...
Okay. The question is, there is indeed 5 wards with a 6 to rule them.
Can we go to the map? Let's see which one.
Yeah, can we look at the... Yes.
The world map, or...
the world map.
The ward map, yeah.
So we found all 5 wards. I think the 5th one is in the southern glacier. The master ward.
The 6th one?
Well, a hero climbed a peak. Do we think that maybe the peak... That maybe actually the theory of it being on the peak is correct?
Alex, do we know anything in Mithrari lore about a hero that's a one-eyed club wielder?
No. Mithrari tradition begins... So, to be clear, Mithrari, that tribe, is name-dropped here. In your cultural memory, none of this shit happened. I mean, like, I believe I told you that there is no stories of bronze dragons or fucking copper dragons. As the oldest Mithari myth that you know about talks about a Samork, right? Basically, a Samork, which is a 2-headed eagle, guiding the leader of the tribe northward after they suffered some like nebulous defeat in the past. Like, the tribe was broken and scattered, and this king united them, led them north. A Samork guided them to a valley between 2 hills, and he planted down a flag declaring the foundation of Mythos.
At the end of this tale, the Mithari broke. So is this what led to the founding of Mythos?
Probably a fair assumption.
I'm gonna go to the archives. Like, is there like a library, like a history?
Nothing.
Is there a library in the biggest city in the world? Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah, I want to go to the biggest one.
Yep. Okay, the Imperial Library of Mythos. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to, I guess, an ancient heroes section.
Right.
Okay,
I'm
you
gonna
are
take
lucky.
This entire thing. Sorry, this entire thing, and word for word, as what's it called? Zednius repeats it to me. I'll scribe it down, every single word.
Okay. Yeah. So Blake, luckily for you, again, I mostly state this because you and Ethan have context. If you guys tried this in the West, I'd tell you to go fuck yourself. They just don't have stuff written down from that long ago. Like, they have a lot of oral traditions, but here in Mythosia, baby, all this shit is written down. Every little oral story and tradition, and even the conflicting ones that completely disagree on, like, basic facts, all of them are here. And, I mean, there's not even bards, really, in Mythosia, because they don't have a function. It's all just written down, and they tell you, go to the fucking library if you want to go read some stories, bro. Go do your mental gym.
Sometimes it's good to live in Mythosia.
At times, yes. So, you go to the Ancient Heroes section.
I want to start reading stories and see if I could ever find one that matches the description of a one-eyed hero who has a club.
So, Answer is no. I mean, this is going to take, obviously, a really long time to discover. You're going to be reading lots of stuff and reading descriptions of heroes. There is a whole cast of characters in the founding of the Mythos story. There's Meros, who is the first king of Mythos, who is later, well, his descendants are killed founding the Republic of Mythos, but it's a whole thing. The point is, though, is that none of them are one-eyed, nor do they wield clubs. That's seen as a primitive tool. In fact, they paint many of their foes in these stories as wielding clubs, whereas they wield spears and things like that.
All right.
Now, I almost hesitate to say this, but I think I should. There is one species which has a single eye and wields clubs.
It's the
Cyclops.
Cyclops, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the Cyclops.
Because it
Yeah.
was said that Cyclops, Dogman, Hyena Man, like all of them fought. This was a time before like the monstrous races were shunned and humans were very human-like.
We can't be
they were
having a Cyclops
considered.
hero in the lore. We can't.
We
have
can't
it.
be doing
So,
that.
Fucking
No one's gonna know.
based.
By the way, Hakon, he mistyped. It says
Yeah, of course,
Cyclops.
bro. I just typed this whole thing in the 2-minute break we took. Of course, there's mistypes in here.
How dare you? Dogman, Hyena Man, it's probably what are they called?
Yeah, the
Gnolls.
Yeah, which don't even exist on Eastern Valoros, by the
I was
way.
about to say those things are a big Western Valorous thing.
And only one
Bowmen
region.
are
They only exist in the
Minotaurs.
Badlands.
Halfmen are halflings, squadmen are dwarves. What the fuck is Dogman?
Who knows?
A
The answer is
race
none of
long
these
lost
exist in
to
Mythosia
history.
anymore. So,
Knolls, probably.
well, that's Hyena Man.
No,
Oh,
it's
that's
Hyena
Hyena
Man.
Man.
One would assume.
It's furry werewolves. I'm actually just using my.
There
my
was once a
character
race
sheet.
called the Tabaxi in the Badlands, but they were genocided by the Hethanians.
But the
Understandable.
Tabaxi are cat-like, right?
They are more cat-like, yeah, that is true.
Tragic.
Yeah. Tragic for Protonic furries everywhere. Their cat people got genocided.
Yeah.
And then
Did-
just like
My cat
destroying your
dies!
skull with a mace.
Alex,
Did we
I
find
care
it
to
by
even
Cyclops?
ask
degeneracy.
this, but
Yeah.
were them and humans mutually reproducible?
No, Valorosan
Thank God.
species are like actual species, as in, like, they're not races. Half-elves, I think we've discussed this before, half-elves are not actually half
Yeah.
elf, half human. None of these species can reproduce together because they're species. Sorry. Not that you can't try, it's just
No.
that it won't make a baby. Also, they're all
I
dead now
will
anyways, it
try.
doesn't matter. They all got genocided.
I can true resurrection. New
What is
life
that?
goal.
Dude,
New
What
life
is
goal
that?
achieved.
that would be such
True
a funny
resurrect
arc.
to Tabaxi and get it pregnant.
Holy shit.
What race was Rush? Was Rush a
Trollkin.
is that?
No,
It
that
doesn't?
is a
Was the
really...
Rush die?
Trollkin is a whole complicated tangle of worms that took Yogi like 75 sessions just to figure out what the fuck his people were. That's a can of worms we're not going to get into right now.
Okay, but was you said
Missed
was
well
Rush
memes.
Rush dead?
No, he's not dead. He's just
No.
on a crusade. He's living his best life.
Listen, I don't know
Crusade.
anything.
No,
about
he's not on
the
a
other
crusade.
campaigns.
He's like
Pilgrimage, a
doing
fucking
his,
aliyah. I don't
he's
know.
Mosesing his people back to the homeland,
So true.
Is the homeland through the mist wall?
perhaps.
I hope he didn't take a boat.
He did not.
Oh, okay, good.
Anyways,
Took a plane.
so what else do we got going on here?
Nah, I got it.
Oh, sorry. No, never mind. Sorry, I was thinking about what Heko said earlier, but you're just transcribing this, not cool. Is there any of these
Do
proper
we
know
nouns
if-
that you want to
this?
look up?
I'm giving the transcript. I'm giving the transcript. I'm gonna. I've put in my sheet so far,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna bring it to Kato eventually. But
Okay.
first,
Yeah, he is going to be asleep because you guys definitely did this late at night based on all the shit that happened during the day. But sure, that makes sense.
Well, I'll just give it to
Um,
him in the morning then.
Yeah, Yogi,
Have
you
the
were saying.
scribes copy it.
You were saying, do we?
Do we know of any Cyclops that are still around, or have they all been murdered?
They were believed to be exterminated 80 years ago. Then,
But we've
they're-
seen some, haven't we?
Correct. So order of events goes: Emperor declares them exterminated. The Atlian Rangers privately believed that there were a couple of them hiding up on the glaciers, but they couldn't find them. Then you guys saw the corpse of one like very recently, but it was emaciated and weak and like short compared to how big Cyclopses are supposed to be. And you have seen none since then.
Cyclops, probably don't speak a lot. Do any of us have tongues?
Out of character,
Yes.
because Prometheus would never think this or believe this, but do we think that the Emperor was like, all right, we can't kill all of them because of these wards, so I'm just going to say that they're eradicated?
You think? So you're saying that you think the Emperor was alive? Or like I knew about all of this the entire
I think the
time?
Emperor just
there's
doesn't
different
know
parts.
everything.
There's different parts of
and
the
he-
Emperor.
Wait, you don't think he's not omniscient?
No, that's why I said these out of character, because...
Yeah, because Prometheus would obviously believe that
Yeah.
he knows everything. But it is like it's like completely canon that none of the gods of Valoros are omniscient. Some of the shit they say doesn't make any sense otherwise.
That's
I
true.
think it's just random crusade. I don't think he really realized what the Cyclops were up to.
I was also
That's
just
my
operating
bad,
under
guys.
the assumption that there were different parts of the Emperor himself, because there was the host of the soul, and then there was the god itself that
Oh my
inhabited
god,
the
this guy's
Emperor
actually
himself.
falling for the theological propaganda of the
super
church. That's
heretical.
crazy.
Okay, so the Cyclops we've been exterminating, but keeping this shit alive. There was like an ancient tradition of this, passed down through possibly hundreds or thousands of years to keep these glyphs alive, and we exterminated so many.
I've
people
got an
eventually
idea.
fucked up. That's actually so depressing.
I got
Well,
an idea.
it was only a few thousand years, right?
Well, you have
fucking
no
damn
idea.
it. The Mithosian Empire is such a
Well, I
plague
mean, how
in these
many
lands.
how many years has it been since the shattering?
That it has been. Well, what year is it? Do you know what year it is right now?
A few thousand years, right?
Oh,
It's 1281.
fucking yeah, it's 1281.
1281 after the shattering.
Yeah, after the shattering.
Hey,
These bitches have only been maintained for 1200 years.
Why do you think
hey,
it's?
hey, Corvus.
Hmm.
Do you want to send Kovash another sending spell?
Oh god.
Kovash. What do you think is gonna? What would you like to tell him?
Didn't last time he succeed on a check to not have some sort of negative effect, or do we want to risk whatever the negative?
No, that's
effect is?
just
No, that's when he
send it to another
scried
plane.
on Lemedon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's
Uh,
not do that one again.
Who
You
was
can-
the Mithari god that got slain? Was that Lemedon?
Presumably was Kovash.
Kovash.
So,
no, the
you could
Mithari,
try and-
the Mithari fought for Lemedon.
You try and send him and ask him the location of the Master Circle.
What answer are you
Oh.
expecting him to give you? Like, to be clear, not saying this is a bad idea. I'm just saying that location is a notoriously difficult thing to do because you know for a fact he's not going to have the same proper nouns for the mountain. He won't even call it the Alien Mountains. He's going to have some other word. He's also going to have different names for like all the little hills and mountain peaks and all that stuff.
Southern Glacier.
We can.
Okay, I mean,
we can
sure. That's
use,
also
like-
assuming there was even 2 glaciers when he was alive.
That's true. That's true.
We can use the Mount Dominus as a reference point.
Which is where exactly?
The
On the map?
southern
I will-
glacier, right?
Yeah, I'll
Alex?
mark it. Yeah, I'll mark it specifically because it's actually not a part of the glacier. It's even a different type of hex on the mountain map because
alright.
it is just so much taller. It's right there. It's in the northern part of the southern glacier.
I mean, because that would like over the time scale we're talking about, that should be relatively
you should not.
unchanged.
If you think all of this shit happened post shattering, it should all be the same because it's only been 1,200 years. If you think it's pre-shattering, literally all bets are off because the entire world unmade itself.
Well,
Well, when were the Mithrari around?
So Mithdosian recorded history, like in books and shit, doesn't actually start until the 600s after shattering. So before that is the answer.
Okay, so
Could be any
Well,
any time span before that.
it mentioned elves too, so I think this is
It-
pre-shattering.
it said both. Well, it said an elf bereft Earth, but then it says they used stuff from Elven ilk down
What does
at the bottom
bereft
of the
mean?
first.
Lacking.
Oh, okay, so this
So,
is
like-
post-shattering.
Yeah, it has to be
Well, no,
because
no,
the
no.
elves,
The elves
weren't
disappeared
here.
way before the shattering. They had disappeared
Really?
3,000 years before the shattering.
Wait, they did?
I thought that.
Yeah. The elves
I
have been
thought the
gone
elves-
for. The elves have been gone for 4,000 years. The Shattering happened 1,200, 800 years. 12.
Yeah, I guess
1,200, 800.
I guess that
80
wouldn't
years
make
old.
sense because there are some people that are like 400
Ew.
years old, which means they were like their dads would have been around for
Yeah.
like to see elves.
Yeah, there are maps of what Valorous looked
Oh,
like
yeah.
before the Shattering. There are no maps of what the world looked like before the Elven Empire. That is like actual, like not even just prehistory, but like pre-anything. There's nothing before the elves.
Oh,
Right.
if there's maps of before before Shattering, we can
Not
get an idea
accessible
of.
ones that you have. I'm saying they exist in the world.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
I have
Yeah,
more
I don't know, it's
questions.
possible
Oh, yeah?
there's
What's up, Yogi?
one in the entire empire.
So this ritual that banished Lemedon also banished the Sage, and now that the Tyrant has returned, the Lemedon has returned. It's also possible the Sage is like we could maybe reach him.
That's true.
Well, is the sage not likely Kovash?
No,
The godly
Kovash is
sage.
poisonous sage.
Sage, I
assumed
think, is
it's-
a different person.
Followed
Uh,
the
um,
instructions. I don't think so.
At
No.
At
No.
his
the
side
sage.
marched the sage in the valley of the Great Peaks. Armies fought. Struck the copper. It did not harm. Then the sage began to chant. But followed the instructions of their godly sage.
The sage cheated and devised a trick.
My guess is that the sage is Kovash. That the tyrant
Yeah,
is
that's-
Lemedon, no?
My guess is it's a fae.
What?
I'm not saying
Okay,
your
we-
idea is bad. it's Ethan's reaction that got me. It was the like
I'm-
second of
I'm
silence
saying
followed by
that-
what?
It's interesting because Kovash is called the Bronze King. That's a proper noun, and then they say the Sage is also a proper noun. It seems like they're different, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
I
But
It's-
Bronze King and
it's a
Sage
shot-
are not
it's-
the.
But it says for Kovash the Bronze, the wisdom of kings and ages was enough. If not like a wise, ageless king that fights alongside them. What else? That's just the sage, right?
well, there's
I think it's
There's
two different
worded
words referring to the same
separately.
thing.
But the reason I think it's I don't know, it's the cheating part, which I don't think a dragon would do. And also, I don't know, I think out of character, there's something to loop in the Feywild because it has something to do with all of that's going on. I don't think it's just
I don't
the-
think the Feywild is directly involved.
Well, it says, thus the sage cheated and devised a trick to delay their game. Referencing...
the
I
game
will say
of
from a
his
grammar
and-
perspective, it actually could. It's ambiguous because their game could refer to Kovash and Lemedon, or the sages and Lemedons.
Yeah,
Um,
Kovash and the Lemedon being
It could be
Kovash
either.
and the sage being one of the same.
It is ambiguous grammar, to be sure.
I think it's the Kovash is. The
I'm not saying
sage.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying grammar wise.
Well,
it's
yeah, of
ambiguous.
course, you can't give us the actual real answer because that would be.
I will ask a question though.
Give me 250 gold. I'm gonna cast it again.
But you already have the second casting.
Yeah, but we wanted to use it on something
can-
else. I thought
I don't know.
on the
But
wards.
I will ask Blake
I thought this
if
was
you
the
think
wards, no?
the sage is a different person. What's the way to phrase this? You have one data point, which is Heko or Corvus cast a spell of sending, targeting Kovash the Bronze, and in response, he got a message, which means there is some creature somewhere, not on this plane of existence, because he had to roll to see if it would work, which responded to him, which means Kovash is alive. Or mortally wounded, it sounds like, but alive. How did that happen? What did Kovash do in this story after the first paragraph if him and the sage are different people? And what led to him getting mortally wounded and not vibing on the material plane?
That's true because it did say who did he strike? The club wielder.
Lemodon.
The club leader was wounded. Lemodon curling his claw in victory. Then the ritual succeeded. Lemodon was pulled towards oblivion. And this, as his magical fingers stretched forth and gripped onto the sage. Their game came to an end as both sage and tyrant were pulled towards oblivion. Yeah.
The victorious coalition shattered. Their cause ended. I feel like it wouldn't have shattered if Kovash was around to.
Like my guess is Kovash was the sage, and he was ripped into this like sub-dimension with
a demiplane, perhaps.
This demiplane, yes, with Lemodon, and now that that he was essentially gone. So the god was slain essentially to them. The god was dead, but now he's not. But he wasn't actually dead. He was just in the demiplane, and now he's returned, and now Lemodon has killed him for real. That's what I think is happened here. The why Lemodon wouldn't have just killed him in the demiplane if he was capable of doing so, I'm not sure. Maybe it's some sort of demiplane that makes you unable to do anything.
Well, that is worth discussing. Well, actually, you have the subcircle of the demiplane transcribed. The demiplane, like when you cast the spell demiplane, you define what that plane looks like. That plane is defined for this subcircle. The way it's defined is as an infinite void going in all directions that is freezing cold with no light, no sound, and no food. That is what the Plateau Wards creates.
That's pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is Lemodon, or is Kovash still in the demiplane? Did it just crack enough to let Lemodon out?
Well, it might have cracked enough to let them both, but Kovash got killed.
Well,
I think
he's not dead yet, or at least he wasn't dead as of 2 months ago. Or a month ago, whenever you sent that sending spell.
Okay, we could just try
so
sending
if he's
him
not,
again.
You could, yeah.
I already deleted the spell set. I was going to do it anyway, but how about we just do it now?
Just say something like, in the name to reignite the glyphs. I don't know, like, where are you? Where is the master glyph? Where's the one to rule them all? I don't know, something like that.
He's composing his message in written form. I can tell. He's doing the echo silent concentration noises.
Yes.
We should give him a point to reference its location off of.
Shout out to the Bullmen. Just wanted to mention that. My Minotaur homies. Shout out.
What was that one dude's name?
The one you played?
Yep.
In the meantime, I want to ask
Awesome.
Rania if there's anything related to Fae that can be described as a dogman.
I can think off the top of my head, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, there's the dog. I mean, you know the Yeth Hound. That's a dog with a man's face.
Okay, I'll give that information.
I mean, yeah, you've encountered those a bunch. Yeah, they're not bipedal though. They're I mean, yeah, I don't need to explain it. You know what a Yeth Hound is. While Corvus composes that, we are a little bit over our time. I don't mind going longer to wrap this up, but does anyone need to bounce?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good.
Nah, I can joke.
He's joking. He did the straw man voice. Well, I don't want to interrupt Echo, so Echo, if you want to like mute or something while we're yapping. You guys do have a second casting of legend lore. You could try to drill even deeper into this topic. Obviously, this is not a complete story. I hope that's relatively apparent. It leaves a lot of details
gonna-
out. It's kind of confusing. Do we have an idea of what we want to do with the second casting of Legend Lore, or do we want to wait until we get Hecko's information from the Kovash angle and then decide?
I think wait for the Kovash angle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Um,
even if,
can you-
like, we... Go ahead.
Can you use info you gleaned in one Legend Lore to drill further with a second?
Absolutely.
Or is it kind of just like...
Yeah.
Oh, okay, alright.
Yeah, so I have actually read... So the real answer is, mechanically, as a spell, Legend Lore exists for the players to ask the DM a question and for them to essentially lore dump things that the players would never be able to discover otherwise. The very few times it's been implemented into official adventures, like with Strahd or White Plume Mountain, it serves as a way of giving the background. Now, obviously, that's not really how we're using it here at all. Here, it's an investigative tool to peer through the sands of time, because this shit is not undiscoverable, just like borderline undiscoverable, because you need to get an insane amount of data points and put them all in the right order.
Yeah.
Which is possible. It's just hard. So that is how we're using it. So yes, you can use information to vibe off itself. I think the best instance of that was, do you remember in the last Ark of Dwarf game where you were searching for the Kongenzaz? And, no, it wasn't the Kongenzaz. It was...
I mean, it was the
It was the other
big
one.
axe, right?
Yeah,
that was
the other
gonna
axe. Yeah,
unite,
Kongenzaz was the one in the Dragon's Mouth. You were looking for the one in the Elemental Plane of Earth. But Ild Yangirir, lore-wise, cast Legend Lore like 20 times to find exactly where that thing was. And that's how you guys knew that it was on the Elemental Plane of Earth, and then you did all the shit you did. But Ild just kept spamming Legend Lore, being like, where the fuck is this axe? And then she gave you its exact location. Okay.
All right, I cut this down from like almost 40 words to this.
Okay. Mark's
That's
This is
good work right there.
21.
Okay.
Well,
Roll
it's
a
German,
D100.
learn to be brief. Ah, shit.
That's the...
I also need to open
The
up a word
final
counting
gate.
software.
D100.
21 words.
Okay. High is good, low is bad. 8!
Low's
What's the
bad,
percent?
huh?
Let me go check something.
Wait, what's the percent? Is it 5 or 10?
I'm not answering that question. I am going to go look at the sending spell, though.
It says 5.
It's 5.
It does say 5.
We're in the clear.
Okay.
Ooh.
Alrighty. Okay. Okay, let's sending this guy. Let's sending this guy with spell
Let's sending this
slots.
guy with magic. Yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you just roll a d20 then?
He's right.
Listen here,
When he's
little
right, he's
shit.
right. When he's right, he's right.
Okay. All right.
I mean, yeah, it is mechanically identical. Okay. Need to think for a sec. Not that long. We don't need to take a break, but I do need to think.
You could also think about that until the entire break, because the session is technically, the time.
I mentioned that while you were cooking, and everyone said they were all right to
did.
go a bit longer.
He did address it.
Okay, the reply comes. The voice is weak and kind of raspy. In the southern half of the range is a prominent peak. Halfway up, there is a plateau on which lies my opus.
Holy shit.
That was actually incredibly productive.
I'm
LFG, guys. LFG.
Looking for
all
game?
because
Looking
All
for
Because
Let's
these-
fucking go!
Let's fucking
these bozos were too lazy to walk up the mountain with their own 2 feet.
When he's right, he's right.
Okay.
Also, when
We
you say
could've
lazy, you do
known-
mean like
Listen,
lethal, to
you're
be
on
clear.
the flying horse.
But
You're literally on a flying horse, so.
Hey, all right. Only reason I didn't go up there, I'm a plains man. All right, mountains aren't my gig. But if they
well,
were,
maybe they were all plains
So we're
wizards.
gonna.
Listen, I could have easily
but
gone
they're
up there.
wizards, so they're
I've choose a
automatically
spider
like.
climb. So
They're automatically like lazy, and they'll take the easy way out. The shoes of
yes.
spider climb is a perfect example.
Lazy wizard
You're not
theory.
gonna-
I'm familiar.
You're not gonna put the effort into climb it when you can just use magic to fucking like stick to it.
So
Well,
when we get
so we're
back, we
beelining-
can
What do you mean when we get
tell-
back? You're in Mythos.
Well, no, I mean like, are we going for longer?
Yeah, everyone said they
Oh
were
my
fine. We can
God.
go for another 20 minutes.
How much longer?
Oh.
Okay.
So I think
I don't know about much longer.
now is a perfect time to
Yeah,
tell
I'm
Kato.
EP.
We know where the Master Ward is.
Okay. Do we want to save other legend lores for next time?
I think so.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
That would
Well
require a
then.
lot of thought.
For the end of the session, the reply comes to your mind, Corvus, and almost unbidden, you speak the words to the other judges. It takes only a couple of glances to each other to know that you must go to Kato immediately. It is very late. He was 100% asleep, but this is probably important enough to wake
I
him.
don't think it matters.
Get owned, other judges. We got the.
You
one.
did through
We got
the
it.
the strangest of random events. Yeah, you did get it first.
We collated enough information to use magic, which then
yeah,
gave us
but like
further
a
information.
linchpin in this entire thing was getting a random book from an archmage who like blackmailed Grania.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens if we
Yeah.
That did happen.
renege on
I
that?
mean,
Did we
you
tell?
know.
Does he know
Yeah.
now, or was it we're gonna tell him later? Okay.
Wait, Kato?
No, the wizard that we made the deal with for Grania.
Oh,
yeah, he knows how Grania casts spells. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like a we'll tell him later.
No, she
but he
told him.
knows now.
No.
Um,
That was like a deal where he wasn't about like supposed to tell anybody for like some years or something.
Yeah, something
I
like
was
that.
still really vague about it. I said something to the effect of, "I don't cast the spells myself." Or
Yeah.
something to the effect,
Also
yeah.
true.
He said
Okay.
through another entity or something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was good.
So you guys make your way to the
Ordinarily
Department of
big.
Civility and send for a courier to go wake up Kato. About 15 minutes later, you guys are all waiting in the hall outside of Kato's office. Kato walks down the hall. He rubs his eyes. Or sorry, 30 minutes later. He rubs his eyes and he looks at you wordlessly. He kind of gestures for you to follow him. He opens up the door and reaches for a tinderbox to strike a match to light one of his torches for the room. And soon a kind of reddish orange light flickers across his map of the Alien range. I assume this is important.
Yes.
We found the
Yeah.
location of the last glyph.
We've
Well, we found a lot more than that.
It's true.
All right. Well, first, where is it, and what is the source?
The master
source
glyph.
is This-
The source.
the source is a sending spell to the one who scribed it long ago. Kovash the Bronze Dragon.
Yes. You mentioned having sent him once before.
Yes.
I believe
But he said he
Aurelius
was-
has also sent him communications.
We just knew what to ask this time.
Yeah. We asked him, and he said that in the southern part of the mountain range, on one of
Halfway up the
most-
tallest peak.
halfway up the most prominent of peaks,
The Heaven's Tip?
there's a plateau.
Yes.
It would make
Presumably.
sense. The 6 Inquisitors died at the base of the glacier leading to the Heaven's Tip.
We also cast Legends lore.
Yes, and I'll-
Corvus is scribe it.
Yeah, I'll pull out the.
Yeah, he'll read
Scribed
through it,
information.
and, you guys have collected a lot of eclectic information that you failed to communicate to Kato, so it takes him, like, 1 or 2 readings, and you have to be like, no, okay, so this is who Kovash is, this is who Limidon we think he is, and by the end of it, though, he slowly nods. This document, this legend lore, is not to be produced, reproduced, or shared with anyone else.
May I ask why?
The last paragraph implies that the actions of the imperial family led to the return of the Beast of Adlio.
Yeah.
We can
will,
strike that from the records, I suppose.
I will produce a censured version and distribute it. I will recall judges from the mountains and the foothills to cease the search and think about next steps. It is reasonable that we should expect resistance from the beast himself if we attempt to reach the Master Ward, since other judges have died in that vicinity.
Seems we don't need to kill the beast itself, we only need to fix the Master Ward.
Correct, but if the beast is guarding the ward, conflict is inevitable. We will need
True.
to come with full strength. We will not be sending groups of brave heroes to battle a world-ending threat. We'll be sending overwhelming numbers to eradicate it from existence.
A legion?
Perhaps. I'm not sure if a legion is well equipped to fight in mountain circumstances, but certainly every single judge and inquisitor. I'd like to see that beast when it has to face 50 of our finest rather than 5.
I
But,
think,
He told us relevant.
can we scry this location?
It's too vague, halfway up a massive mountain. But I will inform the Department of Magic and have them begin to do sensor sweeps of the entire thing.
So we should know what's wrong with it before we go up there. We know possibly how to fix it. Same with the others. We should. I'm not sure how fixed they need to be, but
It will probably take me a few days to inform all the relevant parties and withdraw the groups of judges, remain in the capital until then. And just to make it very clear, do not discuss the contents of this legend lore with anyone, not just because of the 3rd paragraph, but I believe this also implies that the Mitharii fought for the beast. That is a inconvenient historical fact. You've done well. I will inform you as things progress.
For the time being, should we stay in
Alright.
Mythos and wait for
Absolutely.
further instructions?
Yes, I have much to do. You're dismissed.
Alright.
He keeps the transcription. So, as you guys head back to your villa, there's some XP to give out because this arc had basically one central mystery. Now, I'll be honest, you haven't solved the whole thing, but you've solved the part that you care about. You know, this is like, you know, there's a murder mystery. You find out who the murderer is. You maybe don't know all of the context that led up to the murder, but you figured out who the murderer was, and that's what really matters. So, who is the highest level in the party?
I'm level 14.
14.
I believe
Okay.
14 is the highest we have,
I'm
right?
also 14,
Then-
yeah.
I need to quickly pull up my sheet, because I think
Should I might level up?
I am very close to leveling up.
I think
to
it's
15.
very distinctly possible. Let me go
I don't
find
think
it real
I'm
quick.
gonna level up.
Okay, so Blake is the highest level at 14. That would mean
Wait, don't worry, you hit 15.
I'm about to, yeah.
okay.
Very, very close.
Fuck,
Damn!
I'm about to hit
So
14. I'm entirely
everyone in the
behind.
party for completing this pivotal objective gets 20,000 experience.
Yeah, I leveled.
Oh well,
Yo!
I might level up. Jesus.
I leveled up.
Well, it should be. It should be 20,000 is the XP required to get from 14 to 15. So it should be enough to level everyone up at least once.
No, it's 25,000 is needed from 14
No,
to
25,000 is 14 to 15. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I meant 13 to 14. Whoops.
Oh well, Alex.
Oh yeah, I do level up.
Yeah.
That's not true, because I am 100 XP off.
No!
Well, that's because you're already 14. You're trying to get to 20 to 15. I meant 13 to 14 is 20,000. That is really funny, though. Does anyone want to give him 100 XP? This is the only time I will allow XP
I
transfers.
will give him 100 XP since I'm the
I
first.
I was
guy.
yeah.
It is the only time in this entire campaign I will allow that degenerate
I was to say,
behavior.
I'm not giving that bitch shitter.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, with that, you are going to be taking a long rest. Technically, you shouldn't level up yet, but you're going to be taking a long rest. It's going to take Kato a while to get all the parties on board without just like telling them all the information, because some of the things you found will never, ever, ever reach the light of day. Especially the the Mytharii thing. That kind of is, harmful to the Mythosian national image of themselves. So with that, we'll be back when we be back. I don't know if it'll be next week, but we'll be back when we'll be back. So I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.